Red hot comic book movie news, shooting up your butthole. The Weekly Planet, the Weekly Planet.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Weekly Planet, where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. My name is James, also known as Mr. Sundabe. With me, as always, is my co-host, Nick Mason.
Mr. Sundabe.
Did you misspeak?
Did you misspeak is the question.
Did you misspeak?
I did not misspeak.
But you sound like you misspoke.
No, my friend.
So you're saying that I misspoke, but you didn't misspoke?
There's no comedy or really anything to be had from this, I don't think. And
You're shutting it down, are you?
Yeah, I'm not shutting it down. Let's see where this goes.
No, let's see where you go with it. Seeing as you were the one quick to jump in and correct my obvious non-error. No, I did say it. This is nothing, though. You're right.
Absolutely
But this
nothing.
is the Weekly Planet, where obviously we talk about...
Oh, that's our slogan, actually. This is nothing.
Yeah.
Just go with it. It's fine.
But we've got big news this week. We've got some apes being stolen.
That's
don't we,
right.
Mason?
Have they been mutated by slurp juice, these apes?
No.
No, I don't
Maybe?
think so. No,
I don't know.
think so.
Depending on what that means.
I think there was an ape and a mutant stolen.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Maybe-
there was
maybe
a
something
couple.
else.
You're right. Yeah. We've got
And then just a pencil drawing on a bit of toilet paper or something. I don't know.
Then we've got news of J.J. Abrams' deal at Warner Brothers Discovery potentially going sour. Trailers ahoy for Thor: Love and Thunder, The Grey Man, and Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. Then, of course, we've got Star Wars Celebration. A lot of stuff coming out of that, not just Star Wars. There's some Indiana Jones news and some Willow news thrown in there on top of, some new series announcements and some footage that was shown and a new trailer for Andor.
Oh, yes.
Then we're going to talk Top Gun Maverick.
That's right. It's time.
That's right. And if you do want to hear any things in particular, Collins, who edits these together, he's kind enough to put something in the description. I believe they're called Tim Cods, and you can just skip wherever you actually want to go.
He adds a personal message to everybody who tweets at him.
That's true.
That's right. Anyway, it's great to be here recording on a Sunday. James.
Did you misspeak then, Mason?
Yeah, I did. I meant Sunday, actually. Yeah, because we're recording on Sunday. Yeah.
That's correct, which is the day we normally record. We do a Sunday night so we can get as much hot news as we can before it goes out Monday morning.
That's right. The news is always just a rip-roaring bloody celebration on a weekend.
It's true.
Hollywood doesn't stop on the weekend. It only mostly stops on the weekend.
That's right. Oh, we're going to talk a little bit about Obi-Wan as well and a bit later. And speaking of, at bigsandwich.co, which is our bonus subscription service, like our private Patreon, we have a bunch of extra stuff we do there. This week was Comic Book Club, and we looked at some very strange Obi-Wan comics from the past.
Yes, no longer in continuity Obi-Wan comics.
Are correct.
Some wild speculation from comic book writers and artists in the past as to what's
anything
of the dark history of Obi-Wan. What could it really be?
Yeah.
Something weird,
exactly. We looked at a couple of stories there. Anyways, this story that...
Not a man working in a meat factory.
No, certainly not. Mm-hmm.
Every day I play a little game. I call it Hide the Meat.
Oh, Obi-Wan. You're
Uncle Owen, are you familiar with this game?
You're awful wherever you go.
Uncle Owen, do you want to see my hidden meat?
No.
Uncle Owen, sometimes I get my hidden meat out on the space bus and I say, hello there. Do you want a little taste of my hidden meat? You can have a little nibble and then you can perhaps have a big mouthful. I'm rude Obi-Wan Kenobi.
My allegiance isn't to democracy, it's to hidden meat. What an awful character you've created that I can't veto.
He's so rude, this guy.
He's so rude.
Why is he so weird?
I don't like him.
I don't like him either.
He gets ruder every week. Anyways, Seth Green, you might have seen this week.
I put my little meat in a little package.
He does. He makes sure he wraps it up, which I guess is good. But so Seth Green, you might have seen this, but...
I can't believe this is the first bit of news.
I just think it speaks to the future of entertainment.
I think it does
in a
too.
bad
You're right.
way.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, or what it could potentially be.
Also, this is the second Family Guy alum to have an NFT-based TV
Mila
show.
Kunis did one.
She did Stoner Cats.
Which was awful also.
I think all the Emmys it won beg to differ.
Yeah, okay. Did it?
No, I'm thinking of a parallel universe in which that
Where
happened.
everything that's awful wins something?
Is even more awful.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so as people might be aware, if you follow NFTs, one of the it's so stupid. But look, I know there's a lot of people who are really into it, and you're probably going to be like, actually, you don't understand it. Actually, you've been conned. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm sorry to break it to you. Maybe you managed to flip something at some point, but I advise you, if you haven't got into any of this yet, do not do that.
Or purchase a slurp juice for your ape.
And this is financial advice. Just
No.
Of course, it absolutely is not. So basically, there are pictures of monkeys and people purchase them.
And other things.
But they're
Sometimes it's stolen other people's art.
Yes, a lot of the time it is that. And then you basically own the rights of that and including digital and otherwise, to this character or image. It's also outside of any known copyright systems or any standard legal requirements. Basically, if you have the digital receipt, for lack of a better term of how you would explain this, then you own that, right?
Well, really, you own the right to the URL.
Yes, anybody can copy and paste that image and do whatever they want with it also, it turns out. But anyway, Bored Apes come with a license to make personal and commercial use of your new primate pal. When you purchase an ape, you are granted the right to reproduce its image and create derivative works. Seth Green had planned to do just that. For months, he had been developing a series called White Horse Tavern.
Months?
Yeah, great question. Whoa! Ollie's just watching the trailer for White Horse Tavern.
Oh, incredible.
As we did before the show.
She's thrilled.
It's very upsetting. Which combines live action and animation and stars an ape with a halo and endearing intimacy issues as the titular watering holes bartender. I'm just going to let the dog out and then I'll come back to this. So we hadn't seen any of this, and so we gave the trailer a look-see before, which played at
a bit of a looky-loo.
It was at Gary V's NFT festival, whatever he was doing. Right, that's where it was filmed off. And it's imagine Cheers, but with the ugliest fucking art you've ever seen, and not funny,
and no plot.
What's
the It feels like an ad for like a digital camera when people still bought those.
It feels like that, yeah.
We're just having some experiences. What are they? They're very vague, but maybe you could have them too.
Don't you think it would be like more of a compelling concept if any of the art was good? You know?
Yeah, maybe.
Which I guess is why they steal a bunch of stuff. But you know what I mean? I'm sure,
like Chippendale, which we watched last week.
It could be, yeah, exactly. It looked about, I don't know, like 1% as good as that, I guess.
But it just looks sort of like it was just various largely unconnected moments at a bar with various humans and various animated NFTs.
And they're all dating and they're all on their phones.
But it was impossible to say who was a main character.
The ape with the halo, presumably.
Well, he's the main character, but like it was impossible to say like some of these characters only going to be there in snippets. But it was also there didn't seem to be any element of like, what is the thrust of this? Is it him and he's trying to get out of working at a bar, or is it?
Yeah, and it also, because it felt like you mentioned, like Chippendale, or I guess even Roger Rabbit, where it's packed with like what you think would be cameos, but it just keeps cutting to like just even uglier and uglier NFT art, as if you're supposed to know what any of it is. You know,
I reckon there would. We didn't see the trailer at NFT Con, the convention for conning people with NFTs. But I imagine there would have been cheers in the audience when, like, a particular NFT...
No, that was the trailer at the conference.
Oh.
Did you hear any cheers?
No.
That's the thing that we watched. Someone filmed that on a big jumbotron.
Yeah, I didn't hear any cheers at all.
Yeah.
Wow,
all right. It was a stony silence.
Wow.
But anyways, it turns out that a couple of NFTs, including the lead ape from the show...
we're not even
at the news part yet.
That's not news, folks.
You can skip this, by the way.
Also, just FYI, an ape with a halo, at least there's one more halo than there was in the TV series Halo.
Very true.
Because I learned recently they didn't even get to the halo in season 1.
Isn't that strange? Because that show is set in heaven and it stars angels. Is that correct?
Yeah,
that's right. Weird choice. Anyway, so it was stolen. It was then flipped to a user by the name of Darkwing84 for $200K, right? So the idea is now that this person or bot, there's a person behind it presumably, now owns any of the commercial use and license to this character for this show that has been in development for supposedly months, right? Which means from a legal standpoint, if you're going by the rules of NFTs, then Seth Green no longer owns the rights to that character and hence cannot use it in a show. Which is strange because if it was, say, like a Rick and Morty, someone couldn't be like, I've stolen the rights to Rick and Morty and now you can't make your show.
Yeah,
like the idea behind NFTs are that it doesn't play to any of the standard rules, so hence any of your copyright, it doesn't apply here. Except Seth Green assured VCon attendees that he's working with authorities. This was after also reaching out to Darkwing84 publicly on Twitter and asking if we come to a deal.
Yeah.
Said, guys, if there's a door to kick in, I promise I'm going to kick in the door for us. But here's the thing. It's been said also that since, as I mentioned, he can't use this anymore because somebody else owns it. But he replied on Twitter, not true since the art was stolen. A buyer who purchased stolen art with real money and refuses to return it is not legally entitled to the exploitation usage of the underlying IP. But here's the thing, because it's gone through a couple of owners, they are. So I guess he could... So it said also that his lawyers are now trying to go through using whatever means possible to get this back.
Mm-hmm.
But that also undercuts the whole purpose of NFTs, as in they are outside of any standard laws.
Sure.
So I'd imagine if you're part of the NFT community and then you can just set a legal precedent where you can take someone to court and get something back, doesn't that defeat the purpose of this thing that's supposed to exist on another plane of ownership?
Seth Green's betrayed them all.
I just think, the idea is that it's supposed to be free of conventional rules until they get stolen, and then it's like, oh, that's mine, and I'm going to take you to court for it. And look, fair enough, because he's clearly been tricked into buying this thing or whatever. He seems like a nice enough guy, I guess.
Sure.
And you would be upset if somebody stole the lead character to your show.
Sure.
But what is this? What is any of this?
It's amazing, isn't it?
God.
I'm excited, though.
I'm excited to see how this plays out,
Hey,
Mason.
speaking of the rights to things, here's
okay.
one bit of news.
Okay.
This is from comicbookmovie.com. And I know in advance you hate this, but here it is.
Okay.
Winnie the Pooh has been reimagined as a psychopathic killer for a new horror movie, Blood and Honey.
I don't hate that at all because it's out of copyright, or the stuff that's
I thought you did hate it.
No,
You think it looks bad?
Yeah, it does look bad,
Okay, great.
but I like the idea of properties going out of copyright and then anybody can do anything with it. And is this going to be good? Probably not.
Probably not, but it's worth somebody give. It's interesting somebody is taking a crack at it.
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh and Piglet go on a blood-soaked murder rampage. This is live action, by the way.
Yes.
After Christopher Robin decides to abandon them without food. The director explained to Variety, because they've had to fend for themselves so much, they've essentially become feral, so they've gone back to their animal roots. They're no longer tame. They're like a vicious bear and pig who want to go around and try and find prey.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't actually seen anything. I've only seen some still imagery of it. But no, because nothing now ever goes out of IP. Like Disney has ensured that everything, that the lifetime ownership of things is now extending forever. Except if it's an ape, you can steal a picture of an ape.
That's right.
So, no, I don't hate this at all.
It looks to me like, if you look at the stills, it does look like a pretty bog standard kind of slasher maniac on the loose kind of thing.
Yeah, like The Strangers or
exactly.
whatever,
but they're wearing I was going to say, but they're wearing masks, so The Strangers essentially. But I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited for stuff to finally go. And there's a limited basket of this sort of stuff, but I'm excited for it. James, I'm working on a new version of Ernest Hemingway's The Sun Also Rises, which is called The Sun Also Rises, but then it goes down and then there's vampires.
Wow.
Pretty good, right? Nobody steal that.
Very good.
Nobody steal that. I've got an ape on it.
And vampires are public domain as well.
Vampires
so
are also public domain, yeah.
And you could have said, and Jane Austen or whatever.
Yes.
Great. Also, I just want to quickly back to that ape thing, just quickly. As you mentioned before the show, just use any other piece of ugly as fuck art.
Just pull it out and put a different thing in. It's fine.
Take the halo off.
But then what would it be? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it doesn't have the cachet of the bored ape, then what's it got,
Great question. Anyways, this news is via The Hollywood Reporter. Now, as you may know, a couple of years back, I think it was actually 2019, J.J. Abrams' production company Bad Robot signed a big deal with Warner Brothers.
Oh, big deal.
So it was to develop a number of projects, including there was a Batman animated series, which he was doing with Matt Reeves. There's a show called Subject to Change. There was a show called Denouement, which has a $200 million budget.
What's that about?
I don't know. But
so the denouement is the thing that happens after the action wraps up in a movie.
Oh.
So like at the end of the movie when somebody's like, and after all this, I'm going back to college or whatever. Like that's the denouement.
So it's just going to be people going back to college.
Just 3 hours of people going back to college, maybe.
Terrific.
Yeah.
With $200 million budget? Great.
Yes.
There's a show also called U2 Scripted. Presumed Innocent, that's a show for Apple. There's a crime drama called Duster. There's also a number of other DC projects, including a Superman movie that he is producing. I'm not sure about directing.
Sure, right.
That's one that Ta-Nehisi Coates is writing. Is that the one?
I see, right.
Is that the one?
I don't know.
Yeah. It's the one. It's the one with the who's the Superman with the silver suit. And they're going to get Michael B. Jordan to play him.
Valzod?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
I can't
maybe.
remember. Yeah.
But there also might be two Superman
there's
projects
different. Yes.
operating concurrently. There probably are. There's probably like
Yeah.
different departments. Each has one, and first to the finish line gets to make theirs, I guess.
That's right. And there was also he was working on Justice League Dark.
First to get their NFT back. First to get their Superman NFT back gets to make the movie because they both lost him in various scams.
Yeah, no doubt. There was also a Justice League Dark franchise, which would include Constantine and Madam X and a number of other properties. Anyway, so sources suggest, this is via THR, that there is some frustration within the halls of Warner Brothers. So Zaslav, who's the guy who's taken over from Discovery, he's basically gutting everything. Anything that doesn't make a profit or he thinks is like a waste of time.
Oh, Discovery Channel.
Because Warner Brothers have kind of been like,
Let's try a bunch of
mostly
stuff.
directionless, and some's great, and some's like, why are you doing this? You know,
yeah.
So he's trying to kind of like trim the fat.
Well, it's interesting because there's also I brought up some options for one bit of news this week, and another was Leslie Jones cast as Plastic Woman in DC's adult animated series,
so I guess,
which is separate because there's also another Plastic Woman movie in development. Yeah, there's like a separate.
Is that one dead now?
Oh, the project? I don't know. I don't think I've heard any news
because if the Leslie
about
Jones one's just announced, I'd say that one is happening. But
yeah.
So just quickly, he was frustrated with the lack of delivery from the deal signed in September of 2019, and it also because J.J. Abrams has met with like other production companies, is also I think producing the next Star Trek movie as well, and that's Paramount, so that's a whole other thing. So basically, they signed this. I can't remember what it was, but it was an insane amount of money. I remember it being, I want to say in the hundreds of millions, but I don't know. And he hasn't done anything yet. We haven't seen anything. It's been 3. And I know also there's been a pandemic and
like
whatever.
the Game of Thrones brothers. You know the Game of Thrones brothers?
Yeah, the GOTBs.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know what that means. I mean, are they going to, I guess they'll either make him like streamline it and do something or they'll cut it, I guess, which they could do.
I imagine, because the GOT brothers, Weiss and Benioff.
Yeah.
Have they done anything? Because they quit. They quit Game of Thrones. They finished off Game of Thrones real quick, and then they got a very big development deal for.
I want to say Netflix.
Netflix, yeah.
But they also were going to do that. What if the Civil War, but it was still the Civil War, and slavery was still happening?
Yeah, and it's cool.
And it's cool.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know.
People are like, no, thank you.
I don't know what they're working on at the moment. So. Yeah, look, I know like a lot of people's opinion on J.J. Abrams is like mixed, but I think he would be like to start a Superman series.
He is good at starting
I think he
stuff.
would be great,
Yeah.
like really. Oh, could be great, I should say, because people, if that happens and it's bad, people will come back and yell at me like it's my fault.
But as we know, he can't end something without it being the finale to Felicity.
Yes, that's right.
Which is the denouement.
Denouement.
She goes back to college probably.
She was in the last Star Wars, wasn't she? She was in
the last
Rise of Skywalker. So,
do you remember Powerless? Remember that TV? That
yeah,
DC series Powerless?
you've talked about that. I think.
It had
Michael Chiklis was in it.
No, it was Vanessa Hudgens.
Oh, that's the workplace. And...
Yeah, it was Vanessa Hudgens and Alan Tudyk, and they just worked at a Wayne building, like a Wayne Industries.
It was originally
facility.
like Batman R&D, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But then it just ended up being like just office management stuff.
And then it was just sort of like I watched like an episode and a half, and it was just sort of like office management, like the Office Light. Yeah. And then there was the occasional reference to like something about the Flash.
So they weren't even like making weird super tech or whatever.
I mean, maybe, but I didn't get that far.
It's a great question for another day. Or maybe you in the past when you remembered what that was. But he's gone now, that guy.
He's dead, that guy.
So we don't
Good riddance, I say.
Should we do trailers ahoy, Mason?
Yes.
This dropped pretty early last week, but Thor Love and Thunder got a brand new trailer. And did it break the internet? It's been so long, who knows?
I think it broke the internet very briefly. I think it broke the internet for a day.
Yeah.
But then
a horrible tragedy happened.
Well, that also happened. Like the news cycle is so like, you know, it's so rushed now that you can only really break the internet for a day. I think if you'd seen Thor's bottom for real, I think it would have broken the internet.
Do you think we're going to be seeing Thor's bottom in the movie for real?
Yes.
I think so.
I
like to think so. You know who would like to see Thor's bottom?
Who?
Rude Obi-Wan, no doubt.
I don't know about that.
You look at anyone's bottom, Mason.
You don't know the rich backstory of the character, of the motivations of rude Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I guess I don't.
You don't know what taste he has and whose bottom he'd look at.
It's not about
James.
taste, he just wants to see it.
Okay, right.
He doesn't care, Mason. Anyways, so we got more Jane Foster, but a couple of other big reveals, that being Gore the God Butcher, played by Christian Bale.
Who has a different look than he does. Well, first of all, it's not just Christian Bale with a bunch of dots on his face and they've CGI'd a look over
Voldemorted
him. They've given him a proper prosthetics and makeup look, but they haven't given him, in the comic books, he has sort of like big Twi'lek ears.
Yeah.
Like he's got big,
He's more like a lizardy kind of
sort of big beagle
fella.
ears, big beagle ear tentacles.
I think going with this direction gives like him an opportunity to kind of, do some acting.
Oh, do some acting.
Because if they're just
doing some of that acting he's famous
if you put
for.
him under like a Christopher Eccleston like thing
Yeah.
when he was the Thor villain, or you digitally alter his face in some way, I can't imagine Christian Bale's the kind of actor that would be cool with that.
No. Was he... I think I read somewhere this week that somebody famous or high profile was offered Malekith, the Dark Elf, and turned it down. It wasn't Christian Bale though, was it? It was Cumberbatch. There we go.
Yeah,
Right.
we talked about it. Yeah.
Okay, great.
But no, I think he looks. I really like the look,
Yeah.
and I know it's different from the comic. But I think that's also. I think if they did no nose and Snoopy ears, I don't know. I don't know whether that would have worked.
Do you think he'd look a bit like Snoopy with no nose,
Yeah, maybe.
which is a paradox
Is it?
because Snoopy's all nose.
He is all nose, isn't he?
But for people who don't know, so Gore is a sort of a. He was born into a kind of a primitive tribe on an alien planet, and there's lots of suffering, and his family dies, and all this sort of stuff.
And he's like, "Oh, I love the gods, though."
Yeah, and but then he's like, actually, I don't love the gods anymore. But then there's some mortally wounded gods crash on his planet, and they're like, "Hey, can you help us?" And he's like, "Are you squeeze me? Are you kidding me?
Pardon me?
Are you joking me right now?" It's exactly.
Yeah.
And then he like steals at least one of their powers, and he's like, "I'm going to fly into space, and I'm going to find all the gods. I'm going to kill them."
And he has a big venom sword.
He has a big venom sword. Yes.
So that's good. We also got Rustle Crowe. We saw more of him as the Greek god Zeus, just hamming it up there, having a good
right, yeah.
time. And then, of course, the biggest reveal
Is the big CGI helmet that Thor is wearing in that
Oh,
scene.
yeah, that's not good, is it?
Isn't it meant to look ridiculous though?
I mean, it does. It looks ridiculous. Also,
It is-
doesn't
it is
look like it's.
comic-
I agree, but it doesn't look like he's on his head.
No, it doesn't at all. So that particular suit is comic
Yes.
accurate. There is a version.
I like the rest of the suit.
Yeah,
It's
like
fine,
it's
yeah.
dead on to I think maybe like a 90s suit or maybe like a late 80s suit. But I think I'm pretty sure that helmet's supposed to look ridiculous. I think it's one of those. I think it's one of those helmets that's going to be abandoned very quickly.
Oh, definitely, without a doubt.
Yeah. But you're saying, you're right. It doesn't look like it's on his face. And there was also I saw some stuff this week about.
He looks like the Shocker from the comics, like the big star mask that he wears.
Do you mean Electro?
No, Mason. I meant the thing I said.
Okay, that's great.
I meant Electro, everybody, but
Okay, right.
I can't admit it to him. I can't admit fault.
If he admits fault, I'll know he's weak and I can crush him. But he hasn't admitted fault. He's still invulnerable. One day I'll get him. One day he'll make a mistake. He'll admit to that mistake, but he hasn't. God damn it. But anyway, yeah. So apparently, I've read somewhere that everybody who uploaded that She-Hulk footage to YouTube, they got like the YouTube compression apparently ruined.
Oh, yeah,
a lot
right.
of that
Yeah,
CG.
yeah.
So people were like, she looks like The Sims. We said she looked like The Sims.
Yeah.
Apparently, the actual the
Compression
version that will come to
issue.
Disney Plus is going to look a bit better. Not because they're going to be working on it necessarily, just because it's going to be less compressed. We're going to see it in a proper.
Apparently, if you watch it on Disney Plus with full streaming capability, then it looks better. I haven't done that because
And we can't.
Yeah.
Because the internet here is
our
bad.
terrible internet.
Yeah.
But anyways, we also see the bod of one Christopher Hemsworth.
That's right.
My goodness, what has he been up to?
I don't think he's bigger than.
He's big. He's definitely bigger.
he?
100%.
Huh.
Yeah.
Even bigger than Ragnarok.
Yeah, he was pretty lean in Ragnarok compared to
Right.
previously. Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's easily the
I don't think I
biggest
can tell
he's
at
ever
this
been.
point.
Yeah.
I think there's once a Hollywood star goes like wider than a certain size, maybe
Yeah.
I can't tell anymore.
Maybe
Because
you
I'm like,
can't.
I think he looks like sort of the same as Ragnarok. But,
Yeah.
and this had to be pointed out to me. He is on his back. He has a Loki tattoo.
Oh, does he? I didn't see that.
He's got like
Okay.
the Loki horns, and I think maybe it has like R.I.P. brother or R.I.P. Loki or something like that.
Okay.
on his back.
Chris Hemsworth, Thor body. What's that? What would be the faces? Perv.
Do a big perv.
Give me a big look. Yeah. So if you look at him, in here we go. This is just for you, Mason.
All right.
But see how can he's smaller in Ragnarok?
Okay, so that's him in Home and Away.
Yep.
And what's the middle one
That's
is Thor
first
1.
Thor.
And what's the one?
That's
That's
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok. Okay.
Yeah, I reckon he's bigger than Ragnarok.
Yeah, he probably is. I remember him being
He's
bigger in
ripter
Ragnarok.
he's ripter than he was before in Ragnarok,
Right.
but he's bigger in.
Because when he takes his shirt off when I saw Ragnarok in cinemas, the audience gasped.
They went, "Oh my god,
audience was like,
everybody! Oh my God, they said. What a handsome buff man, they said.
I did say that.
Yeah.
One guy went, that's probably not sustainable. Everybody was like, shut up. Shut up.
Let us enjoy this.
Where's your sense of wonder?
Yes, he's probably sauce to the gills and all of those things, as they say in the industry.
I think he just uses the Great Center app for great...
Yeah, he probably does a lot of body weight squats and then he gets there.
Yeah.
Anyways, and also some people are just naturally better at building muscle and all the drugs and all the food that he gets made for him,
Yeah.
Good on him, whatever. Then we also got a trailer for The Grey Man, which is the Russo brothers' next film. It's it reminds me of Spy vs. Spy, or the movie The Jackal with
The
Richard,
Mad Magazine
with Richard
features
Gere
Spy
and Bruce
versus
Willis.
Spy.
Yes.
White Spy versus Black Spy.
That's right.
Oh, and you combine them, you get a grey spy.
Grey Spy.
So that'll do it. So this was originally going to be Brad Pitt and a
was
different
it?
director,
Okay, I
I
didn't know
think.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But now it's Gosling and the Russo brothers, and that's pretty
And
good.
Chris Evans.
Oh yeah, with a absolute, just a wonderful mustache.
That's
I
right.
think,
So it's an assassin has to kill an assassin or whatever. So they're the two world's best assassins.
like Ballistic X versus Sever.
Like that movie where
Antonio Banderas and Lucy Liu.
Isn't that one of the worst movies ever made?
Yes, I think it's a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's also that one where Will Smith fights a younger Will Smith.
Gemini Man.
Gemini Man. What a movie.
Man.
Remember that one?
What a movie.
What a movie and what a moment in time that was. But no, this one looks really good. And of course, it is going to Netflix, I believe, first. Is that right?
Yes.
So that doesn't bode well necessarily. But
Unless they gave everybody involved a lot of money.
yeah, but they do that all the time.
That's true.
And
Not us, though.
No, that's true.
That one time for Iron Fist. And that other time for
Oh,
Stranger
yeah.
Things.
Yeah, but it wasn't like
A lot of money.
the money to make a movie.
No, that's true. It wasn't. That is, you're absolutely right.
Would you agree with that?
I would agree, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought it looked really good.
I mean, maybe we could make like some sort of Winnie the Pooh movie. Like
Okay.
a low budget.
I'd love that actually. And then, of course, we got a trailer for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, which was exactly the same as the one that leaked. So it turns out that all those sound effects weren't supposed to be there anyway. It's just music playing and various stunts happening. What did you think having a good look at it?
Before we get into that, I just want to say that Ballistic X versus Sever remains at 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it has a 19% audience score from 10,000 plus ratings.
There you go.
So not everyone hates that movie.
It's 1,900 people being like, we like this. That's great.
Yeah, it's really
Did you
good.
see the math I just did then?
That was incredible. Good work.
Thank you. I'm just going to put away this whiteboard that I've been working on for the past 3 days. Mason, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning.
We see the return of Kittredge, of course, from Mission Impossible 1, the voice on the other side of the Good Morning, Mr. Phelps.
It turns out if you always look 50, you just
Stay looking that way.
stay looking
Yeah,
that
yeah,
way.
yeah.
Like you just...
What is interesting also, and correct me if I'm wrong, he's got the only dialogue in this trailer, right?
Yes,
Everybody else is
I think you might be right, yeah. And he's just like, this is serious stuff now.
Yeah, yeah. But it's the sort of the mirror image of that scene from Mission Impossible 1 where they have the scene in the restaurant and Tom Cruise blasts his way through the fish tank or whatever.
Bang!
That's right.
It's a good movie.
It is a good
We did
movie.
a video on it, but that is a
Yeah.
good movie. So I wonder I think they might have only released this because it was leaked. I don't know. Maybe not.
But I think
it's
also
a year away.
I reckon it's also to capitalize on Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I should have thought about that. The last movie Tom Cruise did was the previous Mission Impossible, which was 2018, which is also the largest gap he's ever had between making movies.
Really?
Yeah. Because Top Gun Maverick was filmed in 2018 or 2019. It was filmed
I see.
ages ago.
Yeah, right.
So long ago.
That's right. Now, what incredible stunts are we seeing in Top Gun Dead Reckoning?
He goes on the
trailer?
train and then he drives a bike off a cliff and he's got a parachute, hopefully.
Maybe not. You know what I thought I had, and we'll get to this when we talk about Top Gun Maverick. I think if Tom Cruise is going to go while filming a movie, like if he's going to die, I think he's going to float off into space. I think that might be how it is because he'll be like, I'm gonna put this plane in a low Earth orbit, and then something's going to happen, and he's just going to float off out of orbit and just turn to ice.
Do you think anybody
And he would leave, but there'll always be the rumors that he's come back somehow.
Yeah. Do you think anyone would find him one day, like an alien civilization, and bring him back?
Yeah, absolutely. He'll become their king.
So yeah, there you go. Anyway, there'll be more to Tom Cruise news.
Also, maybe he'll go out there and actually find Xenu.
Maybe he will.
Yeah.
But isn't that all made up?
No.
But I guess in an infinite universe, you'd eventually hit something that
You'd eventually hit
resembles
Xenu, or at least a guy who's willing to admit that he's Xenu. You know,
willing to admit. Okay, great.
Short break, but we're back into it.
No, that wasn't a short break. Nobody felt anything then. But
terrific.
Mason, I apologise because
We're still talking about Mission Impossible, though.
we are, and I just wanted to quickly say I had this lined up for the Seth Green thing before, and I didn't use it, so I have to use it.
How about no, Scott? Okay.
That's from Austin Powers because Seth Green is
He's
in Austin Powers.
That's great.
And that's me just being relevant.
I loved how relevant that was. Have you seen did you see any of the Pentaveret?
Look, I'd like to say that it's something that no.
No, I don't know if anyone has. Isn't that wild that a man who at one point was probably considered like the most high profile comedic force
I would
in
even
the
say
world.
like one of the actors.
Yeah.
Really,
Released a full, I think, a series, but maybe
Yep.
a movie on Netflix, and nobody thought about it because that's a deep cut from something.
It's like a previous skit or something. It's mentioned in
So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Yeah,
Somebody is like, there's a cabal of 5 men and they control the world and blah, blah, blah. And then like several decades later is like, I should make a whole movie about that.
Did you know Shrek's in it?
I did know Shrek's in it. I have seen that clip of him and Shrek fighting some bullies or something. I have seen that, yes.
Yeah, look, I'd love for it to be like. I haven't watched it, so maybe it's amazing. But I would have loved to have heard that it's really like great and like super. He's taken it forward in new and interesting ways. But maybe
you haven't heard precisely that.
I haven't heard those exact words, and so I cannot. I simply have not watched it.
Well, look, we'll wait for our friends Alexi and Cam to do a full recap of on Mic Check.
That's right, and then you tell me what they said.
I'll tell you what they said.
Terrific.
Okay.
Anyways, it's Star Wars Celebration
We're still
weekend.
not talking about.
Oh, fine. What else? Mission Impossible.
They drive a funny little mini.
They drive a. This is like Jason Bourne. Whatever.
It's
It's like the Jason Bourne situation. You know, they're
Jason
in a
Bourne,
little car.
but you can see you don't see the full thing. But clearly they're like, we're going to get in this Aston Martin or whatever. But then their contact or whatever's like, I've gotten you a stupid little car. Beep beep.
That's comedy also.
That is comedy.
Maybe Mike Myers could learn something from that.
He could.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe he could.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, that's all I want.
That's the one. Okay.
Yeah.
You've derailed Star Wars Celebration.
People
talk.
would have said, "What do you think about the funny little Fiat?" And I've been like, "I like it. It's cool.
Great, terrific.
Meep.
Star Wars Celebration, Mason. A bunch of announcements that we're going to be going through. One of them being the Skeleton Crew, which is the John Watts series, live action series.
John Watts, of course, from Spider-Man, director of Spider-Man.
Correct. Apparently it's for kids, but it's also, as Dave Filoni said, who runs and heads up a bunch of Star Wars
Definitely not for kids. That's what he said.
We said as much.
We're still debating over it internally, and John Watts says it's for kids, and I say it's not for kids. We're going to have full frontal nudity.
That's right. No, he said as much for kids as the Clone Wars is, because there's a lot of like murder and stuff in that.
Brief update. We've come to a consensus. Every odd episode is going to be for kids, and every even episode is going to be not for kids.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Definitely not for
The
kids.
Star Trek rule, but kids
right.
are not kids.
Yeah.
So it's also going to be starring, they've announced one cast member, and it's Jude Law. So
That's
there you
cool.
go. Mm-hmm. What is it? Stranger Things, but Star Wars, and set 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So
in that wonderful pocket.
Yes, that's right.
That pocket of time where everything happened.
Where everything happened, and everything continues to happen. There was also footage for Ahsoka, which we didn't see, along with The Mandalorian. I'll just quickly talk about The Mandalorian, but it's going to be...
Soup Ahsoka.
That's right. That's great, Mason.
It is great.
So-
it's not a fully complete joke of
I
any
think it
kind.
is.
But it's funny just words. You know, when words come out of your mouth.
Words-
I think that's fun.
You say a thing and everyone goes, yep, that you've done it.
Yeah.
So The Mandalorian, it's going to...
Maybe they could put that on the menu at a Disney-themed... I was going to say Disney-themed park, Disneyland.
The menu?
Yeah, at like a restaurant.
But it's a water pistol.
That's why it would confuse people and they'd hate it.
Or is that the joke, is it?
Yeah, that's the
That's
joke.
the funny part. That's the complete joke.
That's the complete joke.
Great. So in this one, he's still got the Darksaber. And
They squirt it into your mouth from a Super Soaker.
Fine, terrific, great. This is a good joke that keeps going that I can't veto.
You can't veto. James, it's not a joke. We're just working through some stuff. That's how this goes.
Isn't that life? Just working through some stuff. So it's going to be streaming in February of 2023, and it's also going to see him return to Mandalore, because remember he took his helmet off?
Yeah.
And the other Mandalorian freaks, there's like 2 left.
Get out of here.
He was like, you can't be a Mandalorian unless you go back to Mandalore and reclaim your honor. But he's like, that exploded. There was a big war. And they're like, can't help you, mate. Sorry.
That's right.
Can't help you.
So just go there and just cover yourself in Mandalore soot.
Yeah. If you'd already taken your helmet off, just keep it off.
Yeah.
You know? It's fine.
Yeah, but
Until
a bit
you
of
put it back
airflow,
on,
I reckon. Yeah,
you know?
that's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
And also, you'd be like, also, I got this Darksaber. I'm like king of the Mandalores. And I say...
I'll kill you.
I'll kill you, and also you take your helmet off whenever you want.
Yep, I agree.
You'd get, like, bed sores, but on your face if you kept your helmet on all the
It's
time.
got space foam in it.
Oh, it's got a bit of space foam?
Yeah, exactly. So
a bit of space Vaseline?
yeah. And you can take it off just when he like sits down for breakfast and stuff.
Can he? Does he?
He does take it off. He can
okay.
take it off as long as it's not around other people.
Okay, right.
Or if you add a machine where it has to scan anyone's face.
That's true. Then you definitely have to do it. Yeah.
It also it seems like Bo-Katan, who was the owner of the Darksaber at one point, she's not happy about that. She's sitting on a big throne and she's like, give me that, I reckon. Give it to me. Give me that thing. Yeah. So, yeah. A little bit later than what we initially thought, so February of next year. But I believe it's just finished filming. So they'll have to just do a bunch of computer graphics.
Oh, do some of
Probably
those
some
computer
editing,
graphics, I reckon.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put some titles on it, cut it into separate storylines.
Figure out where to put a Mandalorian episode in a season of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's right. See if
Yeah.
you can squeeze one in. Yeah. So that's good. But also, Ahsoka, as mentioned, that series is going to basically continue the Rebels storyline where Ezra Bridger, who I think is played by the dude from Aladdin, he's disappeared into the outer space with Thrawn, and they're going to go find him. So it's the cast of Rebels. Well, not the cast. The characters from Rebels who've all been recast in live action are going to figure out what's going on there, Mason.
Oh, my goodness.
And I don't know how exciting that's going to be, but I'd imagine it's going to be very exciting.
I also imagine it would be very exciting.
Yeah. There's also an animated series that's coming out called Tales of the Jedi, which is an anthology series. It's styled like the Clone Wars animation series, Mason.
Okay, sure.
It's going to start off with 6 shorts, about 15 minutes each, and it's going to. This first series is going to focus on. I think 3 of the episodes are on Dooku, and 3 are on Ahsoka.
Okay.
As she's young, where she's born, and how she got to the Jedi Temple.
Okay, sure.
And it's going to be Dooku with young Qui-Gon because he's his master guy.
Ah, yeah, okay.
And then I think Liam. And,
I'm your master guy.
is there a
Never
name-
forget that.
Is there a name for that? Hello.
I don't know. I haven't read the manual, to be honest.
Your first assignment is to read the manual and tell me what you have to refer to me as. But Liam Neeson is going to return as Qui-Gon. But it's also going to have Liam Neeson's son is going to voice young Qui-Gon, apparently.
Ooh.
That's fun too.
It's fun.
So I like the little Star Wars vignette stuff. So I've always been a fan of that kind of stuff. So that's cool to tell little stories. Because if you don't like one, you're just like, next, whatever. You know?
I know.
You know?
Yeah, I know.
Taika Waititi's Star Wars movie. That's going to be the next movie from Star Wars coming.
There it is.
So do you remember? So that's going to be late 2023.
Not a lot of movie news.
Well, no, there wasn't really. Patty Jenkins, her one, you know, she's working on the Rogue Squadron movie.
Oh, yep.
That seemed like it was going to be the next thing.
Yes.
But we've heard some troubles behind the scenes. Apparently she's still on it for now. And so that's coming sometime later than 2023. And also, do you remember she said she's going to make the best fighter pilot movie ever?
She did say that, yeah.
That might be slightly more difficult now, I'd imagine. Don't you think?
For Star Wars. She could just add.
Yeah, you could say
She
for
could
Star
say,
Wars.
I always said for Star Wars under my breath.
So there you go. Let's do some quick non-Star Wars news.
Okay.
There's a picture of Indiana Jones.
I didn't see it. Does he look largely like Indiana Jones?
I'll find it on my telephone.
Okay.
Ring,
I'm
ring.
excited to see if there's any. Who's calling? Is it Harrison Ford?
Yeah.
And what's he want?
I don't know. Give me my plane. Give me a plane. I want to crash it. I got to do the Google search, and I'm like, yes, the latest Indiana Jones images, please.
I just want to know if there's been any significant jacket updates, for example.
It doesn't seem to be. I'm just going to open this up for you, and you can tell me what's going on there.
Okay,
anyway,
great.
this is the image. Feel free to pinch and zoom
I can't see anything.
your own balls.
I'm not going to do that. It's all about decorum. Okay. He seems to be wearing the classic Alden Indy boot.
Yep.
He's got a backpack on. That's good. Keep all his muesli.
Not his satchel?
Well, yeah, it might be. It could be a satchel. Maybe he might have a satchel and a backpack.
Can you keep a muesli bar in a satchel?
I think so.
Okay, good.
Yeah. He's got a little lamp. That's good. Classic Indiana Jones hat.
Yep.
Hair a little bit longer than normal. Turned into some sort of hippie, it seems.
Well, it might be the 60s or 70s. I don't know. How old is he now?
He's probably smoking some of that reefer.
No doubt. Yeah.
right.
Anyways, does it look exactly like Indiana Jones always looks?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And remember, James Mangold is directing it, who did Logan and other things. There you go.
Now, look,
Do you want-
if anybody's going to, veer the crashing plane away from the ground from that, from that last one, it's Mangold, I think.
You're not
so-
wrong.
Yeah.
And just in some other non-Star Wars news,
Whoa,
we got a trailer for Willow.
that's true. We did.
I've seen Willow, but like probably in the 80s.
I've never seen Willow.
Barely
I've never seen
remember
Labyrinth.
It. Yeah.
So this
Is the Labyrinth the David Bowie one?
Yes.
I have seen that. I saw it much later though.
Okay.
People like Willow. It didn't do well.
Yeah.
It was directed by Ron Howard. I think he's coming back to work on this new one as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's someone else working on it, I want to say. There'd be at least...
The man who plays Willow?
Yes.
Yes, he's on it also.
Warwick Davis.
If in fact Warwick Davis's character is called Willow. 'cause I
Yes,
don't-
he's called John Willow.
Does Willow have that magical staff in the original Willow?
Yeah, I think so. He's got a magic stick or something with a
Okay,
gem
great.
in it. I
Nice.
don't know what's happening
Okay,
with
great,
that.
great.
But yeah, also Val Kilmer was in the original
That's
one.
true.
I don't know if you remember, among others. But it was a big flop at the time. And I guess this is kind of in the spirit of like Dark Crystal, which I think also didn't make a hell of a lot of money at the time. And that got a
Yeah,
series.
but it's sort of, they've achieved that cult classic status. A lot
Yeah.
of people, the people who did see it on VHS or whatever, have
love
fond
it.
memories. Yeah.
Maybe the Dark Crystal was an amazing big hit. I don't know.
The Netflix one?
No, the
I
Netflix one wasn't.
Ah.
But apparently it was very good. People loved it. There was another trailer also, which I'm very excited for. We knew this was coming. It wasn't gameplay, but we got some cut, or maybe it was using in-game footage.
No, it said, it definitely said not gameplay, not actual gameplay.
Okay.
We're talking about Star Wars Jedi Survivor,
That's right.
The sequel to Jedi Outcast.
No, Fallen Order.
Oh, yeah.
No, Mason.
Ah.
He's made a mistake, and he admitted it, and now I feel very powerful. So yeah, this is going to take place apparently 5 years after the next one.
Oh, 5 years.
Yeah, another 5 in that perfect time period.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
after
great.
Return of the Jedi.
Terrific.
No, so it's going to be coming to presumably PC, but also current gen consoles in 2023. Which, if there's nothing like that, will be the thing for me that means I'll get a PlayStation 5.
Right.
Because I really like that.
You'll
last one.
attempt to get a PlayStation 5.
I will attempt to get a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
So, but I guess the thing about that is as well, if they put in fast travel back to the ship, amazing. That'll be a perfect game.
Incredible. Yes, please. Yes. And I mean, look, because Fallen Order was sort of based quite significantly, I think, around the game mechanics of the Dark Souls games.
Yes.
Which are notoriously quite, they have a learning curve.
You got to do a lot of rolling.
Yeah, and the idea of like making things easy for people is, anathema to the whole thing. But,
Yeah.
but Elden Ring has come out and it's way more user friendly. So maybe they'll take some ideas from that and put them in this. So fast travel.
I'm afraid of playing Elden Ring. Either I'll hate it and I'll be like,
Yeah.
I don't get video games anymore, or I'll play so much of it that
Like, this is lit.
yeah, I'll
say.
never see anyone ever again. So I'm just going to avoid it, I think.
This is bussin', you'll say.
I'll say that, will I?
Yeah, you'll say
Are you
that.
going to get Elden Ring?
Can I get it on PS4?
No.
Then I'll wait a while.
You can get it on PS4.
Okay, right.
Yeah. It's goddamn mosquito, Mason.
Yeah. I think you got it.
I got it that time.
Nice. So plot-wise, in
Yeah.
this trailer, the biggest reveal seems to be at the end. Cal Kestis,
Yes.
played by your mate,
Yes.
Cameron Monaghan.
That's right. We're best friends.
He uncovers some sort of back-to-tank a la whatever you store a Luke Skywalker or a Darth Vader in.
Yeah.
And it's in some sort of ruins.
Yeah.
And there's somebody in it.
Yes.
Who is that? Is it
Don't
somebody?
know.
So it's not somebody we chopped all their limbs off in the previous game.
No,
I mean,
I
it
don't.
might be.
It could be. There was a guy from the previous game who kind of looks like that with like white hair you defeat, but he got eaten by a floor or something.
Some people speculated, and I imagine there's a rights management issue that prevents this, that it might be a clone of Starkiller. Like we get a Starkiller from.
I mean, they own
Force Unleashed.
Starkiller, but it could be. It could be a new version of Starkiller. Yeah. I don't think it is, but it
Okay.
very well could be. The other thing it could be, and other people.
James, I would stand up and cheer in front of my PlayStation
5. It'll have to be.
4 because I won't.
You'll be watching a trailer on your PlayStation 4.
right, exactly.
Through the terrible YouTube app that they
that's
have.
exactly right. Yeah, I've decided to do things very in such a more difficult way.
Another people have said.
Other people.
Sorry, yeah, that it could be Jorah Cyboth. Do you know who that is?
No.
Okay, so
Do you mean you're a side bottom?
Yes, I did mean that.
Okay.
So he was the guy that Luke meets, the Jedi Luke meets in the Thrawn trilogy.
Okay.
And he's from the Clone Wars, but he's a clone.
Okay.
So he's not an original Jedi, and he's like broken. He's a bad dude, and he's holding a big crystal, I think, on the cover, or a big sword. Do you remember the guy?
A crystal or a sword.
He's got a long flowing beard. He looks like a wizard.
Oh, and he's got lasers coming out of
Yeah,
his
that's the
hands.
one. He's shooting
Yeah,
lightning.
I remember that guy. Yeah.
So it could be a reinterpretation
Pew,
of
pew,
that.
pew.
He looks like he's missing limbs in the tank, though, right?
No, I think, well, it seems to me like they've diluted, because when it pans out, that particular scene,
Yeah.
I was expecting, maybe is this Vader again? Is he?
Oh, okay.
But then,
But he's grown his hair back?
Yeah, I was expecting some like robot limbs or something, but
Yeah.
then I think they
You don't see.
I think it's too foggy in the tank for you to see
Yeah.
what's going on there.
So they do have like long stasis in the Star Wars universe. I
Right.
think there's a clone trooper that goes into stasis and comes out around the time of like the sequel trilogy.
Okay.
But it could be a guy who went in just before like Order 66 and they forgot about him.
Sure,
But I think
yeah.
he's from further back than that.
Oh.
From the ruins in the temple
Do you
and
think he's
whatnot.
from 1 year after Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, he might be from 1 year
that
after.
distant
which is-
past that is
which
1
is
year after Return
the
of the Jedi.
perfect for him to come out 4 years after.
Yeah.
So no, I mean, just from what we've seen, I mean, I don't really like non-gameplay trailers, but
Yeah.
I liked all of that. I like that.
What are
series.
any other revelations in that trailer? I can't really.
I don't know, to be honest. Just glimpses and bits. And there's you see the ship crashed. It's kind of on its side at one point.
Yeah,
It's kind of
right.
wrecked that ship that you're in and about in. Yeah. There's a guy who looks like the one of the Inquisitors. You know, he's got the lines on his head.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not. Apparently, it's not that Inquisitor guy. It's like a different guy. It's like an Imperial dude.
Cool.
So yeah, and that is cool.
That is cool, yeah.
Yeah. And that's all the information we have about that. And there was one more trailer, Mason, for Andor, which is apparently going to be just 2 seasons, 12 episodes in each.
Oh, a mere 24 episodes.
That's
okay.
right. It's going to be set 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
Love it.
Despite him being dead by then. But it's
That's
the
right.
perfect time period when you think about it.
Yeah.
No, so it's going to be, the first one is going to be set 5 years before Rogue One, the first series. And then the next series is apparently going to take place, that's going to take place over a year. And then the remaining years are going to be filled in the time up to Rogue One. And it's just going to be 2 seasons, and that's it. But the difference between this one and a lot of the other ones they've been doing at the moment is it seems like they did a lot of actual location stuff.
As opposed to the volume.
Yeah, because
right.
the volume's been taking a lot of heat lately. I don't know if you've
Very
seen
much. I have
Mason.
seen that, yeah.
Yeah. Feel like
Maybe we'll talk about it later when we talk about
maybe we will,
something
yeah.
coming up.
I think, yeah, there's definitely times, and I think we saw it in the Book of Boba Fett, where it does feel a little bit stale, you know?
Yeah, but I also think a great deal of that has probably been down to you just can't do a location shoot currently for a variety of reasons.
And I also think that if you didn't know they did it that way, you probably wouldn't be able to figure it out. You know, I mean, I watched the entire first season of Mandalorian. I had no idea. So, but you know, but now that you know it's there,
He admitted it, folks. He admitted he didn't notice a thing. I've got him.
No, I was admitting it to the people who
Sorry,
listen to this,
who are you
and
talking
not
to?
you.
Who are you talking
I'm
to?
talking to you now.
Oh no!
You know, but now you can kind of, in some scenes, you can see like they've just stacked up some crates and then the volume's there. But then there's other moments where they use it, you know, where they're inside Boba Fett's ship and the whole thing is like,
Yeah.
and like they've still used it in really interesting
Yeah.
ways.
But I
'Cause
think
so
there's
much you
probably
can do with
also a
it.
time crunch in a lot of this stuff.
Definitely, yeah. And they're doing like 8 shows at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess the advantage of the volume is that it is much more expressive and it's easy to act against than green screen.
Yep.
But the disadvantage from a time front is that you have to pre-render all the
Gotta get it
backgrounds.
all.
Whereas if
Yeah.
you film on a green screen, you can just have people go, "Oh my god, look at that," and then you can fill in what it is later.
Is that a
You
dragon?
can decide what it is. Yeah,
Is that a
it's-
dragon? Yep.
yeah, it's a freaking dragon. I'm terrified.
It's a freaking dragon, bro. Let's get out of here. I love that scene in Star Wars.
I was thinking about Shrek.
Yeah, good stuff. The other thing is Tony Gilroy is working on this, who you might know as the guy who came in and basically took over Rogue One. So Gareth Edwards is not back, who technically directed that movie. And we saw a bunch of people in that. And it seems like there's like a white Imperial room that looks a bit like THX 1138. It's got that kind of 1970s
Yeah, right.
future sci-fi.
Is that not? And that's an Imperial facility of
I
some
believe
sort.
so.
Have we not seen that before? Because it certainly has.
It's got. I mean, it harkens back, no doubt, Mason.
Yeah, it looks like a real 5 years after Return of the Jedi kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it certainly has that kind of very very clean Imperial look. But I don't recall ever seeing a big white room. More grey.
More grey than anything else. Yeah.
But I enjoyed that the Imperial officers have matching like Imperial keep cups. I thought that was good.
That's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
What are they drinking in there? I think they call it calf. Like, give me some calf.
Yes,
they
yes.
say.
Yeah, that's right.
And a hot chocolate because that exists
I'd
in
love
the
a
Star Wars
calf,
universe.
but if you don't have a calf, I'll have a t. That's a T.
Terrific.
It's always fascinating what words they will decide the Star Wars universe will just be
Yeah.
English words and stuff they have to invent.
Like see you in hell.
See you in hell, for
Yeah.
example.
I think-
or Carrie Fisher. I'm
Carrie
over
Fisher.
here.
There was
Or like they'll say like laser,
yeah.
but they'll go, I'll have a glass of calf, please. You could just say coffee, I think.
I think they say blaster. Oh no, Death Star laser. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's also There was for the Thrawn trilogy, there was
Can I have some international roast, please? Can I have a cup of Tatooine international roast?
I want a Pods coffee from a Pods machine.
Oh,
there was
now that's pod coffee.
There was a controversy when the Thrawn trilogy came out because Luke has a hot chocolate in it. Do you remember?
I do remember that.
I don't remember the controversy, but I know that since then there's been controversy, and I think chocolate is still canon in the Star Wars universe.
Good.
So, but there's a fucking iguana in Empire Strikes Back. So there's just some Earth stuff there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
do you think? Okay, just hear me out, James. Mug, Imperial logo, and it says, "Don't talk to me until I've had my calf." What do you think about that?
It probably exists.
Better exist.
Yeah. It's on Redbubble.
But if Darth Vader sees you with it, he'll execute you.
Because it's his mug?
Yeah.
Great.
He took his mug.
Do you reckon he could drink up hot coffee? I don't think he could.
No, you'd have to pour it into one of his chest vents.
So he'd lie flat.
Yep, that's right.
On the staff
not flat,
bench.
slightly head slightly down because there's no like motive power to get it. You can't. If it was flat, he'd have to wait for it to drizzle in. So he has to do head like he's doing a beer bong or something like that.
Pour it into his chest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could somebody please wipe down this bench after I'm done with my morning calf? But don't talk to me before I've poured my morning calf into one of my chest cavities.
But don't talk to me after my morning calf either.
We also see
Just don't.
Clone Wars flashbacks. We see those clone trooper drop ships because he's a separatist or he's from a separatist planet.
Yeah.
There's heroes on both sides,
That's
Mason.
very true.
They were right eventually. And also,
I like their little green outfits. I think that was nice. You don't see a nice little green outfit.
You don't, do you? And we also see the Senate very briefly.
Yeah, right.
So I guess they fixed all that stuff that fell down in there. God, you'd go into that room and be like, you remember when Yoda and the Emperor have a big fight? Be like, what the fuck happened here?
What did you do, Yoda?
Well, he was gone at that point. Maybe that's why he left. He's like, shit, I gotta go.
I'm not paying for this. I'm not paying for any of this.
Just see if they'll find me. They won't find me. I'm never coming back.
Yoda's leaving, and one of the clone troopers is like, Yoda, you're leaving because you're in fear of the power of the dark side of the Force? Yeah, man, that's why I'm leaving. Yeah. Did you not go into that room for like 20 minutes?
It looks really good, I think.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I wasn't not looking forward to it, but getting a glimpse at it made me go, oh. It was also in the era of Star Wars where there's no aliens. Whereas, like, in the original Star Wars...
it's just British men.
Yeah, there's like a bar full of aliens. But everything else is just like British men, yeah. Just being like, this is serious.
Just sweating in the desert sun, just
well, that and the
pink.
Death Star,
Yeah.
Just bros hanging out, British bros.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's Star Wars Celebration 2022.
Honk, honk, honk.
Again, there was more things that they showed which haven't been released online as of yet. But Mason, if you had to pick one Star Wars thing to put in the bin forever, would it be Luke having a hot chocolate?
No.
No, you like that?
No, I think that's great.
Okay.
I think there should be a whole, spin-off comic book series about him acquiring his hot chocolate.
Okay. Well, what would be one thing that you would be? What's the most excited thing here for? We haven't had a good Star Wars game in a while.
Oh yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah.
Would I throw out everything else for it? I
mean,
might actually.
Like that.
What's Taika Waititi up to?
What's it called again? Fallen Order. The first one. That had a real sense of scale to it. Like just incredible. Even just like that opening sequence where you're on the mining rig or whatever it is, and it's just incredible. Sense of this universe, like just.
I mean, you climb the 80 in the swamp or whatever.
Yeah. Like there's some like it's and just like those the idea of like you're in this universe where there's a gantry and there's a 1,000,000-foot drop because you're on the top of a Star Destroyer or whatever, and it's like, I have to do this like in the movies. Okay,
like in a movie.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, the game looks really good.
Yeah, but what's Taika Waititi doing? That will probably.
What is he doing?
What are you up to? Also, did you know that Thor was mostly shot on the volume? That's fun.
That is fun.
All right, Mason, let's move it along.
Okay.
Top Gun Maverick has thundered into cinemas, Mason, much like the movie Thundercats, which is not out yet. They're making that. Adam Wingard is making a Thundercats live-action movie.
But what you're saying is that when that movie is finally released, the fervor will be similar to the release of Top Gun Maverick.
Fervor, that's good.
Good
Yes.
word, right?
The fervor maybe for you because you'll be so attracted to everybody in that. Maybe,
No.
yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
It's interesting that you think that. But listen, Top Gun
I mean, you're the one who brought it up. You're
What?
the one for whom Thundercats is top of mind. That's
No,
interesting.
I just wanted to make you happy by bringing up a thing that you're looking forward to.
Wow.
Anyway, it's got $152 million budget, this Top Gun Maverick. Did you know?
I did not know that. That's quite low.
And they think it's, is it? I guess it is.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, because it's not 200 million, which is the standard.
Yeah, which is
for
the
some
standard
others.
now, yeah. I guess they don't have to pay...
Me.
They don't have to pay you, certainly, but they don't have to pay a Downey and an Evans and a Hemsworth and a et cetera, et cetera, et
They
cetera, et
play
cetera.
Miles Teller, Jennifer Connelly, and Tom Cruise, and nobody else.
That's right. Everybody
Yeah.
else is doing it for the exposure.
Yeah. But they reckon it's going to top $150 million in the US on its 4-day opening weekend. The record was held by one of the previous pirate movies, maybe the second one, I don't know. But they reckon it might beat the $153 million that made, and it's going to make about $110 million internationally. It's huge. It's a very, very big and successful movie already and will probably continue to be so.
People are responding very well to it.
Yeah, but they can't respond to something without understanding what the story was.
Oh,
and that's
no,
what
James.
you're here to tell us about.
Well, Tom Cruise, he plays Pete.
I don't like how they call him Pete. Everyone's calling him
Well, he
Pete.
plays Pete, and Pete's a great Top Gun pilot, or he was.
More.
Yeah, but now he's getting a bit long in the tooth. He's still good. He's still the best.
He's getting long in his big center tooth that he has.
That's right.
Look at Tom Cruise's smile. One of his teeth is in the middle of his head. Everybody look at it.
That's right.
Yeah.
But he should be the king of the Navy at this
Yeah.
point. But he's not the king of the Navy.
He should
He's
be
still
the
just-
cock of the block.
He should be the cock of the block, but he's just some bit of dirt. He's just a grub in the dirt still.
Well, no,
Why is that?
No, he's doing speed tests.
He's doing speed tests, internet speed tests.
Yeah. No, plane tests.
He's doing
Mason.
plane tests.
Let's be serious for once.
That's all right.
This is about our boys in the Navy.
I am, but I'm always serious.
Okay, you're right.
You wait till I get a bit goofy. When I get loosey goosey, there's gonna be trouble. But
Please
then
continue.
they got to bring it back to Top Gun
But why?
for Top Gun related reasons.
Because they have to get him to do the Death Star mission. They got to
Yes.
do the trench run mission from the original Star Wars movie.
That's right.
But with actual planes as opposed to TIE fighters and such.
Exactly right, yes.
And X-Wings.
And he's got to teach the next generation. And he's got to pass the torch to the next generation of Top Gun and also back to himself. That's
It's true.
because the franchise wouldn't
It's
exist
the,
without Top Gun, without Tom Cruise, I think.
It's the Obama giving himself a medal meme, you know?
Yeah, it
It's
absolutely
that
is, yeah.
situation.
Yeah, but he's gonna bring in this new crew, all these hot shots.
Yeah.
In a way, this is Hot Shots Part Deux.
It is in a way, isn't it? Do you think this could open the door to another Hot Shots movie? Because I think it very well could.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, Charlie Sheen he's done terrible things and he's not well. So maybe not with him.
Maybe he could put whatever that character's name, Topper Harley is
Yeah.
that character. Maybe Topper Harley could
pass the torch.
to the kid from 2.5 Men.
There we go.
He could be his protege.
Fantastic.
But anyway, there's a new crew of hot shots, and they're all, what's this old stupid dumb loser? What's he gonna?
We hate this guy.
Yeah, this guy sucks. What's he gonna teach us except how to be a big loser?
Isn't that right, Gramps? He's like, actually, check out this jacket I have and a motorbike.
Whoa!
Where'd he get that?
Yeah, and then he's got to deal with the demons of his past, and he's
Yep.
got to
The goose of his past.
got to deal with the goose of his past. He's got to reconnect with a long lost love.
Yes, but not the
Not the one from the previous movie, a different one.
Though she is mentioned. This one is mentioned in the previous movie.
I
And we can
see.
talk about it. Anyway, what did you think of it?
I liked it. I had a lot of fun with it.
I liked it a lot, yeah.
This is a big time Hollywood movie. We're saying this as people who haven't. I've seen the original a couple of times, I think.
Yeah.
But maybe not. The only time I've seen it all in the one go, I think, was quite recently when we did a
Yes.
commentary about it. But it's one of those. It's a movie where.
And I
Even
didn't.
if you haven't seen it, like the
you
tropes
know
of it have
it.
kind of seeped into your consciousness over a period of time.
And I was never really a big fan, and then watching it again at the end of it. And even though you're not really watching it because you're talking at a movie while you're watching it, in the end of the commentary I talk about, I'm like, is this good? Like,
Yeah.
I can see why people like it, but I don't know whether I like any of this. So going into this movie, I was like, I don't know if this is for me. It's just not really my kind of thing. But you know what? It's really great. It's
Good.
It's pretty
good.
entertaining.
It is very entertaining.
With a few caveats.
I
but
think
yeah.
so. It is certainly.
I think it's better than the first one.
It's definitely better than the first one, and it's the aerial action is spectacular.
Yeah.
It's got a good human drama to it.
Yes.
It is not unpredictable.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But I think that is part and parcel of doing this sort of legacy.
It never
sequel.
felt like, okay, here we go, they're going to do the thing and whatever. Like, even though you know what's happening, it never felt like this is a real drag.
Yeah.
They should call this Top Gun, I'm having a boring time.
Yes,
It didn't feel like that for me.
Yeah.
And I think one of the strengths of this as opposed to the first one, two things. Even though I know they did a lot of fighter pilot stuff, rewatching it recently, there's a lot of very quick cuts in action between the model work and the coupled with the actual flying that they did and like the in-cockpit stuff that they filmed in front of various screens and also real flying. All that is good, but it's very jumpy and it's kind of harder to get a handle on where everybody is and what's happening. And that's also because we watched it and we're talking at it, no doubt. But the action is so clean and clear and obviously done for real. I think pretty much all of it.
I mean, if it's not all done for real, you can't tell.
You definitely
If anything
can't
was
tell,
done
yeah.
on a volume or a soundstage,
Yeah.
you can't tell.
But on top of that, this one, unlike the first one, has a through line of what they're supposed to be doing. Whereas in the original one,
They just graduate.
They graduate. I mean, Goose dies and he's like, I'm sad, I don't know. And then he comes back. And then in the last 10 minutes, they're like, we think there's some Russians or whatever. And then they have a dogfight.
Yes.
But it's kind of unconnected to everything else which is
Yes.
going on. Whereas in this, it's
The
building
mission-
up to this really tense and impossible mission.
Yeah.
Which really helps. Yeah.
And you can really you can feel the G's, man. You know,
Certainly can feel the G's. Do you want to talk a little bit about how they made this, Mason? Because
Yes.
I looked into this. As mentioned,
Cameras?
There was some cameras involved.
Interesting.
They had at
Makeup.
least two. Makeup, food. Like they need food on set.
camaraderie,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Did you feel that?
camembert, cheese.
No.
What?
Not for all the abs, Mason.
No, that's very true. God, I hope they treated themselves to some camembert after.
So they-
maybe I'll get some camembert after this.
They had to reshoot the.
I'll never be in a bloody Top Gun. Tell you that much. I'll never play double football on the beach.
Oh yeah, double football. Twice football, I think they call it. Speaking of twice football.
Oh, double like a double creme brie.
Yes, I think so. Let's talk about the shirtless football. So, as a homage to the volleyball scene,
Yes.
they do it on the beach. They don't have to do it. They play double football, twice football.
They're basically doing it on the beach.
So, Glenn Powell, who's in this, he's the guy. He's Hangman in this.
Oh yeah, so in this we have of course Tom Cruise.
Yes.
And we have Rooster, played by Miles Teller, who
Yep.
is sort of he is the son of Goose from the original movie.
Yep.
And as is tradition for a Top Gun movie now, he needs a rival. He needs a smarmy rival. So
Yes.
we've got Glenn Powell in that role as the Iceman kind of character.
Absolutely. So he said,
It's great, I think. I think they're both
I
very.
agree.
I think they're both very good. And the initial appearance of these characters, I feel, could not be more cliched. Like they all roll
There's
up into a bar,
bar
and
and they're like, "What are
and they're
you-
like,
what's this
look at
jerk
all our
doing here?"
personalities, kind of thing.
I've got glasses.
Yeah, and then one of them's like, oh no, here comes Rooster. He's got the most personality of them all, as evidenced by his Hawaiian shirt.
And mustache.
And he's got sunglasses on inside, and I'm like, oh, here we go. But you settle into that, and it's
Because you could tell them apart.
yeah, it's delightful. But you get, he's good. And I think the supporting cast who get significantly less, airtime. The
Airtime.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
The rest of the Top Gun recruits, they're there, but they
do a pretty good
They
job.
do a pretty good job.
Of what they are given.
Yeah, and I think they all have sort of a good interplay.
Yeah.
We've got the
You understand that, like, the history they've had together and what they think of each other, because they say it to each other and quite often.
But I think Glenn Powell's a good smarmy guy.
I agree. You know what he is? He's what Scott Eastwood was supposed to be.
I see.
That's
right,
a mean
right.
thing to say about Scott Eastwood.
So the son of Clint Eastwood.
Yes, he was supposed to be.
Glenn
the
Powell
son.
is now the son of Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood
we've declared it.
hand typed a letter out, and he's like,
I don't
Glenn
even-
Powell is my son now.
I don't hate Scott Eastwood at all.
No. But what have you seen him in recently?
Fast and Furious 4 years ago or whatever.
No, you didn't see him in
Oh,
that.
you're right. Anyway, he said we shot at the football scene, and that night we all went out for milkshakes and tater tots, just like splurge, and everybody grabbed a beer. And a week later, Tom was like, we got to shoot it again. It wasn't good enough. We're going to shoot it again. And then everybody was back at the gym again, day and night. There's some ripped bods in this.
Including Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
He's looking incredible for 90 years old,
150
however
years old.
however old he
Yeah.
is. He's looking great. I didn't think that. I thought they honest.
You didn't think he didn't think he'd go shirtless?
But then I'm like, of course he would go shirtless because he's
Yeah, he has to.
He's at least some of the recent movies he's done are just an excuse for him to like clown on younger like stars.
Also, like in the making of it, also within the movie.
Yeah. But like it's sort of, and we do obviously in Mission Impossible Fallout, it's him versus
Henry Cavill,
who's just a mountain of a man, and he's clowning on that guy. In this, of course, it is the evil Dean. In this movie, is played by John Hamm. Cyclone.
Yeah.
We learned his call sign is Cyclone at the end
God,
of the
that
movie.
old fuddy-duddy John Hamm.
And look, I don't think this is a spoiler to say, like, we get to the end of the movie and, you know, as oftentimes in this sort of thing, you know, some looks are exchanged and, you know, some salutes and what have you. And there's a moment where I'm like, they should really just dump a wheelbarrow full of manure on top of John Hamm. Because that's what the fuddy-duddy Dean gets, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
God, that button-down nerd John Hamm thinking he knows what's best for the Top Gun Academy. Anyways, the flying. So, yeah, apparently it was all real aircraft and no CGI. The actors playing pilots not only had to film themselves, so they had
just on their phones?
Well, they had to go up in a fighter jet. Nobody flew, including Tom Cruise, fighter jets because you're not allowed to unless you're in the Navy, which, you know, wouldn't surprise me if Tom Cruise
Because
all
these planes are two-seaters.
Yes.
So did they do that? Did they have the person in the other seat fly?
Yes.
And then they CGI'd them out?
Yes.
I guess.
Or you know, they managed to put in like IMAX camera rigs that you could fit into a cockpit. And
okay.
Yeah.
And it's just the actual pilot is not seen.
No,
I guess,
that's right.
But
So-
they're all in the air.
They're all in
like
the
every
air.
time they're acting like, oh, we're gonna pull up or whatever, they're actually in the
Exactly.
pilot seat. Okay, interesting.
So they had to also turn their own cameras on and off.
Okay.
They weren't being fed any lines or anything while they were up there. They were just on their
Wow.
own with the pilot. They'd have to adjust their own makeup and all their own gear so they look like camera ready.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like that's an interesting test of.
It would take an hour to get anything back as well.
So you might go up there and you come back down. They're like, you left the lens cap on.
Well, Miles Teller apparently like recorded over some of his footage as well. So yeah, he did that.
I feel
at one
that
point.
shouldn't have been an option for those guys. They shouldn't have given their equipment that capability.
It was. You're probably right.
You recorded an episode of America's Funniest Home Videos on top of your footage. Miles, what were you doing, mate?
So what they do, the director had to wait on the ground for hours sometimes for the actors to come back with the footage, and adjustments would be made after viewing the footage, and the actors would then have to go back up for another take. There's a moment where they have to do kind of a spin barrel roll over a mountain at one point.
Yeah, right.
And there's you see it, Miles Teller in that hits the roof of the cockpit when it happens.
Okay.
And apparently it's
because he wasn't strapped
He wasn't
in?
strapped in properly, and he's like, oh, they can't use that, but they put it in. They're like, no, that's the best take. So that's,
right, wow.
And you really see they're trying to say lines as their faces are melting with
With
just
the G-forces.
G-force
Yeah,
of the whole
wow.
thing. And it really adds to it.
Yeah,
You know?
that's really interesting. And there would be a certain tension because, like, obviously, but you know, there is, you know, in a lot of the time when people are filming films, there's that moment of like, okay, we've got 2 hours of daylight.
Yeah.
You have to, what have you. Imagine like you're up there filming, you don't know what's working, you don't know if you did a line correctly. The guy, you know, they're running out of daylight. You got more people in planes down on the ground. Your pilot's like, we're running out of fuel, so if you want to actually eject, we might have to eject from this.
Well, speaking of, it cost per hour to use one of the fighter jets $11,374. So yeah, every time you went up, it's costing you money.
All right.
But I guess they still managed to do it on a relatively modest budget for what this is.
That's true.
But I guess everything outside of the flying, it's not super complicated, really.
No,
is
there's
it?
no car chases.
Yeah.
There's no single shot fight scenes or anything like
No,
that. Where they
there's
have to.
nothing like that.
There's no. Yeah, exactly. They don't have to fight it. They don't have to street fight a gang or something.
There's a bit where, like, you know, they'll have to land on a aircraft carrier, or there's a bit where he buzzes the tower kind of again and stuff like that. But yeah, also he's short. Do you notice?
And they just let him be short.
They're just like, he's short now.
Yeah, that's interesting,
Yeah.
right?
Well, because he's short in the first one as well.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't mind that at all. It's like,
That's
yeah, it's his
interesting because
actual
they've sort of
height.
gone, okay, well, before he was the biggest star in the world, we're just going to have him be short. But then as his career has sort of gone up into the stratosphere, so have the lifts in his shoes.
And everybody around him has gotten smaller.
Yeah. But now they're like, well, it'd be a continuity issue if he was tall all of a sudden.
And he's old, so he'll have to be even shorter than
We
he
busted you out of the
previously
Navy, Pete, because you got that weird leg lengthening surgery and you couldn't fly the planes
couldn't
anymore.
fit in the cockpit.
Yeah.
Your
Well,
feet would stick out the bottom.
Apparently a lot of pilots are quite short. A lot of
Yeah,
Navy
you have to.
pilots
It's like
just-
F1 drivers.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to be like a tiny little person. Yeah. But so yeah, they have to blow up like a uranium base.
Enrichment facility, yeah.
Yes. Who are the bad guys? We'll talk about it in spoilers, I guess. But only the US of A can have uranium. Nobody else. Nobody else is going to have any goddamn.
Oh, that's Uncle Sam's uranium. Yum, 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 yum. He's there in his top hat, just chomping on that uranium.
Another thing
on that
that's-
uranium cake.
Another thing that surprised me about this is he's kissing women in movies again.
Yeah.
He hasn't been doing it for a while. And it seemed at first they were going to avoid that.
Yeah, right.
And they kind of shy away from it a few times. But, he actually he sleeps with a woman. And at the end, they do a big kiss together.
Yeah.
And so Tom Cruise is kissing woman on film again, which he hasn't been doing for like 10 years. Not in a successful movie, I should say.
No, that's true. Well, here's so soon we're getting Mission Impossible 7 and 8, which presumably is finishing off the trilogy of not the trilogy, finishing off the franchise.
8 movies?
Yeah, the 8 movie trilogy of Mission Impossible. And this was more of a this is a human drama. Do you think the era of Tom Cruise as an action star, like maybe he's like, I will launch myself into space by accident. So maybe this is it.
Maybe he is.
Maybe he's like segueing back into your Jerry Maguire's.
Well, no, because I saw an interview with him where he was it's the longest he's ever, 36 years after the first one. It's the longest he's ever waited to do anything. Obviously, it's pretty unusual. And that there was a joke about like, oh, maybe you'll do the next one in the next 36 years. And he was like very serious at one point. He's like, I will be here in 36 years.
Oh my God.
So he'll be making movies for
How
about
old will he be then?
Well, he's 58 now. So what's that, 94?
He'll be 94.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right.
Let me just put this whiteboard away, mate.
Thank you.
But the love interest, so it's Penny Benjamin.
Okay.
And she was apparently mentioned in
Penben, they call it. Every time they call it Penben.
She was.
Hey, where's Penben?
Where's Pen?
The instruction was when Penben's not on screen, everybody's asking, where's Penben?
Oh, she was at school because it's mentioned that he dated an admiral's daughter in the first movie, but she would have been 16 if it was actually Jennifer Connelly.
Oh, I see,
at
yeah.
the time. But I don't think she's supposed to be like that much younger.
No,
than
that's
him.
true. Yeah.
Because he's however old he's supposed to be, but. The previous love interest, I found an interview with Kelly McGillis. Also, we said Kelly McGuinness that entire commentary.
I did it on purpose.
We both did a parody, and you all fell for our parody.
It was a good satire, I thought. Yeah.
She was asked in 2019 why she wasn't contacted, and she said it's like this is their Entertainment Tonight. She said it's like
keep going.
Hi, I'm Bob Newhart or whatever, and I'm the blonde lady. And now it's time
Bob
for
Newhart and the blonde lady. It was John Tesh and the blonde lady, James.
Okay, I think wasn't there a Bob someone?
No, Bob Newhart's there might have been.
No, I know
Bob.
there's a Bob. That's a different. Hang on, Bob Entertainment
Tonight. Oh, you've nailed it, James. It was Bob Entertainment Tonight.
Yes, no, it was Bob Gowan.
Bob Gowan.
Well, like Bob going to the toilet because you're so old you need to you prostrate something. He's only 67. He's not that old.
Great.
Anyway,
Really good.
She said it was likely she wasn't contacted. It was likely because I'm old and fat and I look age appropriate for what my age is, and that is not what the whole scene is about. I'd much rather feel absolutely secure in my skin and who and what I am at my age, as opposed to placing a value on all that other stuff. So we mentioned this in the commentary, but yeah, the last time they didn't really get along at the time, and they were photographed together at the Prince of Persia premiere in like 2010.
Yeah,
and yeah, so she just doesn't do this stuff anymore.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, which is I understand.
But at least they went, let's take a reference from the previous movie, and at least they didn't recast.
Yeah,
because that's. Do you remember when they?
It seems like they killed a bunch of people off screen as well. Meg Ryan's dead. They're just like Meg Ryan's dead. Yeah. Your mum, Rooster, is Meg Ryan, and she's dead.
That's right.
Yeah,
she's mega dead.
Yeah, she got megged. She got to the meg.
Oh, she got the megged. Oh no.
Yeah. Spoilers?
Yes, I'm going to say best movie ever.
Agreed.
Good fun. Okay, so one thing that is, which we decided not to talk about pre-spoilers, is that there's an expository thread that runs through the entire movie that is notable for its absence. And once you notice it or it's pointed out to you, it starts to feel a little bit weird. And I guess it was also in the first one. But so
yes, it felt less obvious in the first one though.
Yeah, it's very so.
It was more kind of like it's Russians,
it's a symptom of movie making in Hollywood in the modern era, I think. But also, like you said, a throwback to the original one. So in this movie, the enemy have built a uranium enrichment facility in an underground bunker, and the enemy have placed it in sort of some very precarious terrain, a mountain range and all this very steep mountain range, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
The enemy have fortified it with state-of-the-art radar and countermeasures and surface-to-air missile batteries. And the enemy are...
They've got fifth-generation stealth fighters.
They have fifth-generation stealth fighters. Who are the enemy? No, nobody knows.
So I looked into this.
I think it's Iran, but...
I don't know if it is.
Okay.
So it could be Iran because that's apparently the only place where there's F-14s still operational.
Yeah.
And they have a bunch of F-14s.
Oh, yeah, that's a spoiler, which is...
We're in spoilers.
We're in spoilers, yeah.
Yes.
So,
which is the plane he flies in the
original F-14
one.
Tomcat. Yeah, I think in a worse movie, I would have been like, how can you possibly shoehorn in...
Yeah.
He flew a Tomcat in the first movie, so you're gonna have them magically have a Tomcat in the second movie. But yeah,
I think this does nostalgia the same way that Cobra Kai does it.
Yeah,
it's all the things that you recognize, but done in a way that doesn't feel like oh god.
Yeah,
you know?
But so once you've realized this, it's weird that, and we'll get to who it is, but it's weird that they're always referred to as the enemy.
Yeah.
A few times they mentioned the enemy has this. We've got to do a mission to defeat this enemy, and nobody in the movie goes, "What enemy? Who specifically?"
Yeah,
because you'd think they would. And the more it happens, it feels like if you were watching a dystopian sci-fi movie where characters were like, you have to defeat the enemy, like the third act reveal would be like, the enemy is yourself or whatever. Or the enemy is that episode of Black Mirror where they have to kill those bugs, but it turns out the bugs are refugees or something. Yeah. It'd be like that. The reveal would be that the enemy actually isn't the enemy, but you're being tricked into fighting the enemy. But in this, they just keep going, the enemy, and everybody's like, well, we better do the mission and get the enemy.
Well, you can't also because for a couple of reasons. One, well, they changed his jacket because I think he had a Taiwanese flag on it in the original one, and they
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, and they changed it or some reference to that, and they changed it so they can release this in China.
Right,
which it probably is going to be.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, so as a function of the because back in 1986 or whenever it was, American movies were for Americans, really, and it didn't matter if the implication was heavy that you were fighting the Soviet Union or whatever it is.
Nah.
Or at the time, if they decided they'd make it the Chinese, they would just make it the Chinese. But now everything is another market, and if you want to make $1 billion, you have to. And also, it's a case of like Russia, the government is doing bad stuff right now, and their military is doing stuff, but the Russian people aren't doing that.
Exactly.
They're just people who want to go out and maybe
it can be
watch
said
a movie.
of any nation.
Yeah, exactly. Or the Chinese or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like they just want to go out and see a movie, and it would be odd if you went to see it. You're like, oh, Top Gun, I like Tom Cruise, and it's like these Chinese, they're coming in. We're gonna kill all these Chinese.
They don't need uranium. We're gonna get all the uranium.
But I was gonna say
it could be Russia or China, depending on because who the planes belong to.
But also Russians and the Chinese already have all the uranium they want.
Yes.
So like they don't really need an enrichment facility.
So it apparently like the official word on this is it's a
Afghanistan. My goodness.
No, it's a rogue nation.
Oh, okay, yeah.
With just a bunch of very high-tech weaponry.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I like the first movie. You just fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
Like I hadn't seen the first one in a long time, and I'm like, oh yeah, they are fighting the Russians. But again, when you watch it, they never actually say it's the Russians.
No.
I don't think. And in this one, I imagine most
You
people...
also don't ever see anyone's face.
Yeah,
So you can't be like, where's that person from?
Yeah.
There's no chance you can do that.
Yeah, so I imagine a lot of people will go into this and maybe won't even think about it, or they'll just go, oh, it's probably Russia.
Whatever.
Yeah, but like, it's interesting because they're in a bind because if they say it's Afghanistan or in fact some other... Or even if they went, oh, it's just a terrorist organization... It sort of breaks the reality that this is in our real world. Because if you go, if you invent like a Middle Eastern country or something, or a Russian adjacent country, people go, well, that's not real. So what universe is this kind of thing? But then you go, okay, well, if it's a terrorist organization, how did they get those 5th generation fighter planes?
Yes.
And who did they get to fly them?
Yep.
And etc.
Where they get all the uranium. How did it get to this point?
Yeah.
This terrorist, because terrorist organizations, they're not outfitted like this.
Yeah.
Which is why they have to say it's a nation of some sort.
Yeah. And I guess it could be like, if it were 20 years ago, you could go, okay, it's a former Soviet country that's broken off, and they just happen to have some leftover weapons in the armory.
To take on a modern US Air Force.
Yeah,
because the fact the US are like, they've got better planes than us. It's like, how the fuck did that happen? What do you mean?
I'll answer that. The F-35 is unflyable.
Oh.
So it doesn't work.
Because of the one wing.
Yeah. And if in case you're wondering, yes, Australia has bought a bunch. Yes, they've spent billions of dollars on it just to keep you updated on how good the Australian government is. They bought into it after it was declared a disaster.
Yeah, that's really good, isn't it?
Really good, I think. Yeah.
So one of the
But the thing is, that's not what this movie is about. Really. It's not even the air action is spectacular, but it's not even really about that. It's about, like we said, it's about getting old and making amends for the mistakes of your past and passing along your knowledge to the next generation and also yourself.
And making sure you're the only one left alive from the previous movie.
Yeah, definitely.
You're the only one left. Yeah. Everyone else is dead. Meg Ryan is dead. Val Kilmer is dead.
Val Kilmer's in this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he returns as Iceman, at first in text form. And
Admiral Iceman?
Yes.
That's right, Iced Man. I didn't
Iceman.
misspeak.
I would never correct you. Not
Admiral
on this show.
Iced Coffee Man.
So, but we end up getting a scene.
Admiral Iced Vovo Man.
We end up getting a scene between Iced Man and Maverick, and it's because he's typing it out because, like Val Kilmer in real life, he's had throat cancer and
tracheotomies.
Yes, I don't know whether he can speak at all. Well, he does in this movie, but I don't know whether that was in some kind of enhancement. Because I also saw that they're trying to recreate his voice using archival footage and recording. So I don't know where they were at by the time they filmed this, 3 years ago.
But I thought it was a very touching scene.
I
thought
thought
it was
so
nice,
too. Yeah.
Now, not only the two iconic characters, but also two iconic actors.
And they're just blokes. They're like, we're blokes. Let's hug.
I'm wearing a scarf. That's the thing a bloke can do.
Bloke can wear a scarf.
Yeah, you can drive a motorcycle and I can wear a scarf. I'm Iced Man.
Yeah.
I'm Admiral Iced Man.
Iced Man. So a big, the original movie was responsible for a 500% increase in Navy recruitment at the time. And I think this movie.
And this one, ISIS recruitment.
What?
Yeah,
because of Iceman.
Yes.
No, Iceman.
No,
he wasn't. He wasn't in ISIS though.
People aren't hearing it correctly because of the. You know how audio.
They thought Tom Cruise went to visit his old friend from ISIS.
That's correct.
Oh no!
Yes.
You should watch the first movie before you see this.
But
even then, maybe you think he joined ISIS in
afterwards.
Between movies.
Yes.
Oh god!
It's bad for everyone. That's why the audio in theaters is so bad these days. You know, and they put the recruiting stations outside the cinemas
for ISIS.
Yes.
Oh no!
It's not technically illegal.
It isn't.
No.
I think that would be illegal. I think that would be shut down.
It says not a terrorist organisation on the booth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like saying in a video game.
That's right. It's like, hey, do you want to? It's the booth says, hey, do you want to join ISIS in Minecraft? So,
but on Navy recruitment, so this was all done through the Pentagon's cooperation, and it says via them they said someone from there said it does not have to be a love letter to the military. Which it is anyway, but it needs to uphold the integrity, of the military, and it's certainly.
He apologised.
I was apologising to the military, but
right. Well, that's very noble of you, actually.
But I don't think this works as a recruitment tool in the same way that the original one does, because the world is vastly different, and the information that you can receive about other countries in the world. And why wars are fought and why the military-industrial complex exists. It kind of... Freedom, but it kind of will put a damper on lot of that. And I think people are also more realistic about, I can't just go and fly a plane.
Yeah.
There's a lot of steps between joining up and then getting to be one of the very few people who get to be a Top Gun.
But the opening crawl does say, you know...
no,
and then it just says, remember, everyone gets to be a Top Gun.
Sign up to our ISIS recruitment center.
Oh,
no! My goodness. Anyway, so at the end, in their big mission that they have to do, Tom Cruise is showing them how to be a proper pilot.
Yeah,
they thought they were being good pilots, but he came in and he said, I'm destroying you all in not for real, but just using techniques, fighter pilot techniques.
That's right.
And there's some spectacular flying about.
Spectacular flying,
yes.
you say.
And he gets out of the military at one point. They're like, you're too much of a loose cannon. We don't like you, Tom Cruise. We're going to do your mission, but worse. But then he comes in as a loose unit.
That's right.
Probably the loosest unit in this movie.
Yeah.
No, he's not the goosest unit.
That's very true.
He's the loosest.
Rooster's the goosest unit.
I think so. He is Goose's unit, correct. But
he's come from Goose's unit.
Yes. So in showing that that run through the canyon and then dive and then hitting the target can be done, he then gets to fly the last mission, which is, of course, is what this whole thing was leading towards.
Yes, right.
But what I didn't expect was there's a very brief moment where he's shot down.
Yeah,
Very
right.
briefly.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And I thought that was wonderful. Just seeing, like, what's this guy like on the ground?
Yeah.
Not as good.
Still all right, though.
Oh, he's still all right, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that was fun, yeah.
It felt like, have you ever seen Behind Enemy Lines with Owen Wilson? It felt like that for a second.
I
for
don't
like
think I've
5
seen that.
minutes.
Oh, maybe I have seen that. Okay, yeah.
It was
All
that
right.
like
Yeah,
early
yeah.
2000s. But then having him and Miles Teller on the ground and then find that F-14.
Yeah.
I thought that was very cool.
That was cool stuff.
And then seeing him, and this bit must have been CGI. There's a moment where they're up in the sky and the two other stealth jets come next to them and they're doing the hand signals. And it's pretty funny in moments as well where Tom Cruise is like, I don't know what
Just
this
completely blank fighters. No tail call signs, no flags, no nothing.
Yeah,
The-
hand gestures from nowhere.
you can't see any element of
right.
their skin or face. The base has no flags on it.
Yep.
Just
And they run right across it. You don't see a goddamn thing.
yeah.
But that moment where...
All the enemy soldiers turn away.
Yes, that's right. 'Cause
They're all
shy.
reading big newspapers.
In their planes?
yeah.
Just a big, yeah.
Oh no, they can't be reading newspaper because that would reveal
You
where they're
reveal
from.
where it's
yeah.
from. You're right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But what was I going to say?
They're reading a Lonely Planet guide to China, so you know it's not China.
But giving him the older plane against these newer
Yeah.
planes, and you always know it's coming because they're like, even our planes, even the plane used to, it wouldn't even stand a chance. It's ridiculous. You would
Yeah.
never fly a plane like that now. That adds a sense of tension because he's the best fighter pilot in the galaxy.
Yeah.
He even does the Death Star trench run in this
That's
a couple
true,
of
yeah.
times. But the moment where he just, I don't even know what the word is, where he banks and he just takes out one of them.
Yeah, immediately, yeah.
I thought that was just so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
And I don't know whether this is a real maneuver. It probably isn't, but where that new stealth jet does that, like,
The engines
pretty much
just
like
turn off
like a
and it just-
handbrake turn in the
Yeah,
sky.
right.
And they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, some of that is, I imagine from a technical standpoint, if you know anything about flying, so what seems to happen? What seemed to happen there is I think it just switched its engines off and then just dropped and then switched them back on again,
Yeah.
which I imagine you can't do with a.
you shouldn't be allowed to
You
do.
shouldn't be
It's
allowed to do
rude.
it. But yeah, and right at the end, I'm like, God, I'll be so happy if Hangman shows up because he's, Hangman's on the ground, he's been grounded,
He
and
was
he can't come back.
always
And I'm
coming.
like, this guy, come on, because he's learned. They're friends.
They're friends now.
They did double football.
Yeah, they did.
They played that game of double football and they became friends. And
I
I'm
think
like,
Hangman just wanted to kill as well. He didn't care.
That's true.
Like, I don't think he learnt anything.
No.
He was just like, I get to do a big kill. Mm-hmm. So, Hangman comes in and it saves the day and whatever, and they all high-five on a helicarrier. And
Yeah.
Helicarrier? No, that's from a different thing.
Yeah.
And then John Hamm goes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying sorry.
I see.
Just to
John Hamm is
clarify,
saying
John
sorry.
Hamm said sorry for...
He said it. I mean, he said it with his face, not with his words.
That's right.
And then that manure fell on him.
It's in my mouth. This will never come out of my whites.
Yeah.
Wow, all in all,
Good movie.
worth seeing.
I think so too. Yeah.
There's been some pretty decent movies this year.
Movies.
Yeah, I guess also because we have 2 years of not many movies.
That's true.
It's nice for Tom Cruise to bing back
He's binging back.
the cinematic experience.
He's teaming up with Bing to bing back all the great movies of
Probably
yesteryear.
could.
Okay, if Tom Cruise said, I'm going to bring back, I'm asking you, James,
Me?
I'm going to bring back one of my other movies with a sequel, a decades later sequel, what would you want?
Well, it's interesting, first of all, that Joe, what's the director of this? He did Tron Legacy, and he did
Yeah.
the Tom Cruise movie Oblivion, which I really liked.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever seen Oblivion? It's from like 2011.
Is he wearing the white suit? He's in space? He's on an alien planet? or
Yeah,
something?
but he's on Earth. Yeah. Joseph Kosinski, yes.
There it is. Oh, he did Tron Legacy as well.
did Tron Legacy.
That's that again. That's mixed reviews. Didn't do well financially.
Old sequels.
But they're calling them legacy quills now.
Legacy sequels.
Legacy quills.
Oblivion was 2013. I apologize,
right.
Mason.
Uh-huh.
But no, I thought he handled the whole thing very well. And of course, Tony Scott has passed away.
Yes.
Since. But my question to you: so what Tom Cruise movie comes back? Do you say?
Yes.
What else does he do? What else has he done, Mason?
Vanilla Sky.
Yeah, I didn't mind Vanilla Sky. But
What about
what about Bob? The
what
TV
about
series?
Bob?
What about Made in America?
What about Eyes Wide Shut and there's some sort of weird contractual thing where Nicole Kidman has to come back?
Oh,
also.
she'd love that.
She would love it.
What about Risky Business and he's still...
Even riskier
is
business?
I don't think he'd do that, would he?
What happened? Oh, no, but here's the thing, though. At the end of Risky Business, all their business has fallen apart. But isn't
It was too risky.
It was too risky, but they're like, isn't Tom Cruise, he goes to the other character, he's like, how much money you got in your pocket? Oh, you got $5? Let's go and do another risky business.
Let's see how risky our business
So
can
maybe
be.
we could find out how risky that business was.
What about Edge of Tomorrow?
Oh,
They've been talking about that for a long time.
Yeah.
Now would probably be a good time to do that, actually. What about Minority Report? I would love to see another Minority. I mean, there was a show.
Yes.
What about Legend with Ridley Scott? Did you ever see that? Weird fantasy.
Well, I was just
epic
thinking
of the
earlier
80s?
that Tom Cruise was in Legend and Jennifer Connelly was in Labyrinth.
Yeah.
So that's fun. Bit of
They're
fun.
both. Yes, you're saying they could both return as those characters.
I think they should both return as those characters.
What about Collateral prequel, but he looks younger because it'd have to be a prequel because he doesn't have grey hair.
And he's dead.
And that's why it's a prequel.
Oh, yeah, nice. That's cool.
What
Yeah.
about Interview with the Vampire?
Oh.
They did a sequel to that already.
Follow-up interview with the vampire?
Another Interview with the Vampire?
In this economy?
It doesn't really have any other kind of franchise. Maybe Days of Thunder. That was that a Tony Scott as well? I want to say it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cocktail 2.
Cocktail too. Still cocking?
Still cooking.
Cocks up.
Yes.
Terrific.
Yep.
I don't know. What about this though? I think they're going to make another one of these.
You
I
think
don't
so?
think it's going to take as long.
Do you think Tom Cruise will be in it?
Yes. I think also the reason, he's talked about the reason it's taken so long is because, he was offered the chance to do it originally. And he's like, well, what would I do? Because we kind of did everything.
Yeah.
And I think leaving this amount of time has meant the technology has advanced enough that you can do something vastly interesting, vastly different, but I think vastly more interesting.
Oh
and
my God,
somewhat different.
imagine the twirls he could do these days in
with
Cocktail.
Cocktail.
Cocktail 2.
Oh my God.
Imagine the bottles he could twirl, you
He
know?
could twirl so many bottles.
Yeah.
But so apparently he announced this on the Today Show, the Australian version, in 2000. He was in the year 2000. He went, "We're making Top Gun 2," but he couldn't quite figure it out. And he's also been apparently working towards this because of the helicopter stunts he did in the last Mission Impossible, and also American Made has a lot of actual flying in that because he is a pilot also.
Is that the one where he's a arms dealer?
CIA drug dealing.
Oh,
man.
okay, right.
And also, that plane, he's got is it a Spitfire or Mustang that he has in this?
Mustang.
Yeah.
It's a World War II.
That's his plane.
Oh,
There's that, I don't know if
okay.
you saw James Corden. He took James Corden up.
Oh, I didn't see that, no.
Yeah, I saw some of it and I went, yeah, I get it. Good stuff. Anyway, he seems very nice, but is he?
We don't know. There's no way of knowing.
There's been some very strange things.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But we'll see all of his movies, won't we?
We will see
We'll
all
see
his
some of
movies.
his movies at least. There we go. Is that it?
I think that's it, yeah.
We should move on then.
Okay,
What are we
great.
moving on to?
We're moving on to another segment called What We
Oh,
Read.
did you hear how he said he sees every movie? He
I did
goes
see
in
that.
disguise and sees every
Now,
movie.
I saw that. I love the fact that he goes in disguise.
I want follow-up questions.
Like what
name
disguises?
Name some movies you've seen recently.
Or name some disguises you've worn recently.
I think it's just a baseball cap.
Probably just be a baseball cap, wouldn't it?
But I'd say, tell me about Morbius. Because he said every movie.
But I also saw a follow-up, and maybe this was the internet making it up, but I think I saw a tweet that suggested somebody asked him about Morbius, and he said, I didn't see Morbius.
Okay.
So,
But there's a lot of Morbius discourse, and not all of it is true.
That's
at the
very
moment.
true, yeah.
Yeah. There is. I saw a lot of people talking about how Sony might make a Morbius sequel because they'll take the wrong idea that people are interested.
Yeah.
'Cause there's always Morbius buzz happening.
There is.
Even though we shut it down very clearly.
We did. Well, we shut down Monthbius.
Yes.
I don't think we shut down talking about Morbius.
That is true. Anyways, Mason, what is it time for?
It's time for a segment we call What We Reading. What we going to read.
He's right, everybody. I hate to admit it, but when he's right, he's right. I'm doing the theme. Westworld?
Nice.
Mason, this is a segment of the show where we talk about things we've been watching, reading, listening to, whatever the F.
Whatever the F, man.
And do you want to talk a little bit about Obi-Wan?
Let's talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi.
What did you think about it? I'll say this just up top.
Go on.
This is the best way to watch the prequels in that 4-minute recap.
Sure
Watching
it
those,
is.
I'm like, oh, this looks
Yeah.
good. I just watched them recently.
absolutely did, yeah.
I watched them to death. I never want to watch them again. But yeah,
Your son wants to watch them, right?
yeah, because we did the original, so he wants to watch Phantom Menace, and I'm like, I just don't know whether I can.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to listen to a podcast while we're watching the Phantom Menace with you, and then I'll also explain what's happening
That's right.
because there's a lot
Yeah.
of stuff.
Okay.
So slightly old Obi-Wan Kenobi, slightly older Kenobi.
Yes.
Is that a joke?
Yeah, I think so.
Great, good. It's good to get one in before the end of the show. Mason, what are you thinking? I mean, we're gonna do a bigger recap at the end, but where you at?
Look, I love seeing Ewan McGregor on screen. That's
He
always,
doesn't love you though, does he? You've sent him many letters.
It's true, and he's never written me back.
He's busy.
Hey, wait a minute! What's under this table? It's a big box of my letters, James. You've been taking my letters to Ewan McGregor. Maybe he does love me after all. I'm going to go. I'm going to hand deliver these to Ewan McGregor. Thanks for nothing, James.
Oh, you're welcome.
See you later. No, I like seeing Ewan McGregor on this, but I think it's interesting. It's quite slow going thus far.
Yeah, you think so? Or the first one in
a
particular?
surprise to no one, they've taken the plot of what would probably be a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
And they're going to stretch it over 6 episodes.
So I didn't find it. I honestly didn't find it that slow. I was happy that I guess spoilers. I guess for this.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You know, they're getting off Tatooine. You know, after the first episode, and he's off and about on his little adventure. And I think there were some surprises in here for me.
Number one surprise, friend of the show, Steele Saunders.
Oh my god!
Is in the first episode.
He absolutely
in
is.
a pivotal scene where the one of the Inquisitors arrive on Tatooine and they attempt to derive the location. They attempt to threaten the location of a Jedi out of Owen Lars, but he won't give him up.
But who's there in the background just having a good look?
It's bloody Steele Saunders, isn't it?
So he's going to do. He's got some.
I mean, maybe it's somebody who looks like Steele Saunders.
No, it is. He messaged me.
No, I know it
So
is. Yeah, no, it is.
He's going to put that up on his YouTube channel, I believe, like the whole background behind how that all happened and the time. So, yeah, apparently he found out like there's like a call sheet or whatever, a casting thing. It had a very specific number. It didn't say Star Wars, and he found out which one it was, and he applied, and that's how he got in it.
Go.
God, he's done it.
He's
finally
it's all
done it.
been leading up to this. I mean, some would say he simply loves Star Wars for the magic of it all. But he's told us in secret he just wanted to appear.
Yeah.
In the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and
ruin
he's
it.
out.
He said. He said he wanted to ruin
it. He said he was throwing rocks at everyone on sets.
So yeah, check out the Steele Wars YouTube channel,
Yeah.
that podcast, for more information on that. But I thought, I enjoyed Kumail Nanjiani's character as the fake Jedi. I didn't mind. I quite liked young Princess Leia. I think
she's
people
well cast.
She was great.
We didn't really get anything of young Luke yet.
No,
we just see him.
The chase
we just
is,
see him being,
and maybe he won't be in it much, but the chase was pretty. That chase she has
underwhelming
in the first
bizarre,
episode. Very bizarre. But I also liked seeing Jimmy Smits and Alderaan because we haven't really seen that at all. And Princess Leia's so mean, and I love that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, I think they nailed the casting of Little Leia. I think that was good, and they've given her the super sassy characterization of episode 4.
Yes.
Princess Leia. Oh well, I mean the whole
just
series.
Little and mean.
Just little and mean. Yeah, I like Kumail Nanjiani as the fake Jedi.
Yeah.
And we really got a sense of the monotony of Kenobi's life.
He doesn't live in a house.
He doesn't. He lives in a cave, and
and he's cutting old whale meat.
Yeah, he's getting
for a living. But I also like that. I know there's been some mixed reactions to the Inquisitors. How a lot of that stuff kind of feels forced. And look, Star Wars.
In what way?
The interactions feels like a bit over the top and theatrical. But I like this.
Oh, Star Wars.
Yeah, I know.
That's
the thing. I like the speeches that they're giving to the threatening speeches to. And she just takes that woman's hand off.
That's classic Star Wars. Yeah.
I didn't mind at all, and I think that's also going to grow where you find out where they all, or her in particular, where they're from.
If I could summarize,
she's probably a youngling.
I think this show is. I wondered if maybe she's somebody in that opening sequence, which is the
Order 66.
The Order 66. I wonder if she was a survivor. I mean, because most of the Inquisitors are ex-Jedis.
I think they all are. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So maybe she's a survivor of that. Look, if I can summarize. Like a lot of Star Wars, it's pretty dumb, but I'm on board with this one. I think
that's Star Wars, though, isn't it?
Star Wars,
it's a complete mixed bag. But I was kind of confused as to why she knew who Anakin Skywalker was, because not a lot of people know that. And if you know who he really is, he'll often kill you.
Yeah,
or if you admit to him that you know, he'll kill you. So I don't know whether she's figured that out by herself, whether she saw him in the Jedi Temple.
Yeah, right.
I think they are going to explain it, but I thought that was a bit heavy-handed to be like, Darth Vader's looking for you. That's right, it's actually Anakin Skywalker. It's like, yeah, you don't need to say it. We know who he is.
Yeah.
But then that cut, the absolute like terror in Ewan McGregor's face that it cuts to Darth Vader in the tank.
Yeah.
And just what we're getting next.
He's like, cripes.
Oh, God, I hate it in here.
Yeah.
They're feeding me helium. This isn't even regular oxygen. I sound ridiculous.
It's me, Darth Vader. I'm Darth Vader.
Oh.
They're trying out different voices for me.
But I think I enjoyed the start of it, and I think it's also good that they put 2 out. I think if they had to put 1 out, I think it would have had a very different reception.
Yeah, episode 1, I think, it would. I think people would be like, why is Obi-Wan refusing the call to adventure? That is the cornerstone of all Star Wars in a lot of ways.
And I also like that he's not really using the Force at all, and he has to do fist fights, and he's very rusty. He's punching people, and he's hurting his hands. But he's got drugs. And he uses drugs to escape. And when I saw Flea, I'm like, my God, that's Flea. My God, that's Flea from the
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Because I watched it with Claire.
Tatooinecation
is
the album he would create in this universe.
She didn't like it at all, though.
Alderaanication?
Yeah. Sure. But she didn't like it at all. And I kept having to, like, explain what's happening. And she's like, what happened to the mother? I'm like, okay, you're going to hate this, but she died of a broken heart. She's like, what? It's like, yeah, she had twins and then died because she was sad about her husband. She's like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And I'm like, it is stupid, especially considering like he caught fire and lost all his limbs and then he's like, I'm going to keep doing this.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I'm so sad. But there's no medical reason.
That's true.
And she has children, but she's just like, I'm out. I'm sad.
It's
stupid.
Didn't the Emperor use her life force to create
that
Darth
is a
Vader
theory?
Or something? Yeah, okay, right.
But no, I don't think that's what it is. I think it was just badly written.
Didn't the Emperor use her life force to heat up a burrito in the microwave?
That is true, actually.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
But it was still cold in the middle.
Yeah, that's right. And he's like, God damn it. Couldn't you have hung on for another 5 seconds, Padme, for God's sake?
And I understand that Darth Vader survived because of his hate, etc., and so forth.
Yes.
But I kind of hope that Obi-Wan ditches Princess Leia.
Just out in space.
Yeah. And he could drop her off and then it's just about more about him and Vader.
Do you think, okay, 2 things. Do you think that we are going to get another Obi-Wan and fake Jedi team up? Do you think they're going to team up again?
He feels like a character that should appear again.
But again, in like Mandalorian and Boba Fett, we did get a lot of like significant characters that were there for a minute and then were gone again.
He can show up in 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
Nice, perfect.
Which is what I'm all about.
Also, do you think Leia's
He'll be another thing.
little droid friend,
do
you think it's going to get rebuilt, and do you think it'll have some sort of appeal on the same level as Baby Yoda?
There'll be some appeal between that and BB-8 and the droid they have in like Fallen Order and whatever.
Yeah, right.
But no.
Maybe you can get a multiple Funko pack.
Maybe you can.
Those,
Maybe you get one so you get a drone. You can really fly in real life.
Nice.
You know?
Hell yeah.
But overall, I honestly enjoyed it, and I think I enjoyed it more the more it went on, and just seeing seeing him was ridiculous at the end though. He's just literally behind some boxes, and she's like, "I'm gonna get you, Obi-Wan." And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna hide behind this box." Nice. And then the other Inquisitor turns up, and he's like, "Stop it! This is silly. You're being silly." But she's not like, yeah, he's right.
He's
there.
right there. I'm 5 seconds away from killing. I can do a big jump, and it looks like he's out of practice, big jump style. So I reckon I can do a big jump at him and like cut his head off. I don't think he's even got a lightsaber on him. To be honest, I can do one of those. I can do the big helicopter thing we do.
We did the thing.
We did the big lightsaber helicopter.
And there's questions of like, is the Grand Inquisitor dead? No, because he dies later in Rebels, unless they clone him. But I don't think so.
Okay, so that was the guy who got stabbed was the Grand Inquisitor.
Grand Inquisitor, yeah, he shows up in Rebels again.
Right, okay.
But Benny Safdie's the Jedi in the town.
Oh, yeah, he is too, yeah.
I also thought it was a pretty weak kind of, they strung him up, but it wasn't in a particularly horrific way.
That's true,
Just kind of like, just hanging.
I think
like
a lot of those
Christmas ornament.
I think a lot of the townsfolk would be like, geez, I'd actually rather be hanging up there than working in that weird meat packing plant, to be honest.
How long has that meat been in the sun for?
Yeah.
Isn't that a whale? Do we even have those?
Great point. Maybe it was a big salmon.
Well, it was an ocean planet or something at one point.
I see.
So maybe it's...
What, so they dig up this whale? Where'd it come from?
It's well, the sand dunes shift.
Oh.
Remember he found the lightsabers, though, in the sand dunes?
I did see that,
Those ones didn't shift. They were right. It was right there under the earth.
So one was his and one was...
Anakin's.
Okay, right.
Yeah. One that killed all the kids.
Yeah.
He's probably killed some Bunch of kids, I reckon. Just alien kids, doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
just alien kids.
Little frog people, I don't know.
You do the quick calculation. You go, okay, well, on this planet, the planet goes around the sun. Yeah, they're over 18. Technically, they're adults.
But it's moving to Wednesdays,
Okay.
which is good. So I'm happy to. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with Darth Vader in this series. I've been really looking forward to
Do you
that.
think there will be multiple battles, or do you think there will be a single battle at the end?
I think there might be, and I made the same mistake for Batman Superman. There might be an initial battle where he's not. Obi-Wan doesn't do very well. Then he comes back and he's like, "I flip now. I fucking flip and shit. I'm back."
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to exhibit some incredible powers that I won't do when I'm Alec Guinness. I can breathe fire now. Get this.
But no, I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it
I
also,
did
yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
And Star Wars it's many different things,
Isn't
and
it
it can
though,
be
yeah.
all many different things within one episode.
It's going to be TV shows. It's going to be movies. It's going to be that.
I just
animated
mean
thing.
like in terms of tone and quality.
Oh, yeah,
and all
definitely.
of
Yeah,
that.
that's
But
true, yeah.
you cannot doubt that Ewan McGregor is just terrific as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I like the lady who's playing the Inquisitor as well.
I like her too. As mentioned, I like her little speech about like.
Yeah. Because they rule through fear. That's the
Yeah,
whole thing.
I
That's a
hope
big speech.
Joel Edgerton comes back for a significant portion, but I don't know if he will. I mean, he will be back, but I don't know whether he's going to serve a greater
Yeah.
purpose in
I
this.
think he might have some incredible powers that he won't have when he
breathe
gets
ice.
incinerated in
yeah.
New Hope.
Yeah, because if he had breathe ice powers, he probably would.
Probably
He
wouldn't have
probably
been
stopped
burned to
that
death.
from happening.
Yeah.
I think that was the original Aunt Beru, but we didn't really get a close look. I'm pretty sure,
No.
and I'm almost 100% sure.
She
it
got
is.
a line, maybe?
What? What's that?
Did she get one line?
I
or-
don't remember at all.
Neither
Actually,
do I, yeah.
Wow. Anyway, should we move on?
Yeah, have you been watching anything else, reading anything else?
Oh yeah, I'm watching Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah.
Initially, I'm like, I don't know, they've fallen out as friends. Some don't want to play D&D anymore. I don't know. Am I into this? Oh yeah, it's still good. I like it a lot.
still like him. Yeah, I haven't gotten back to this new season. But,
Yeah.
it's the
God, they're so tall.
the run times keep increasing. Is that
Yes.
what's happening? The last one's 2.5 hours.
I like
or
the
something?
villain. There's a lot of callbacks. There's some very obvious Freddy Krueger callbacks, and
yeah.
not to spoil it, but you'll see that
Is it
happening more
is
and
it
more.
all out now, or is it?
The first portion of this first series.
I think because I saw
series.
a billboard that said part 1 coming out here, part 2 coming out
Yeah.
at this point, and I think is
July's
that
the next
is
part.
that an indication that Netflix are kind of rethinking
Yes.
their strategy of dumping everything on the platform?
Yes,
all at
absolutely.
once?
They
Yeah,
did it with
right.
Ozark as well. I'm pretty confident.
Oh,
I'm also about to play, but I haven't yet, Sniper Elite 5.
I see.
I love the Sniper Elite
Gonna play
series.
with the kids.
Yes. Let's shoot
Check
some
out this
Nazis in the
nut shot.
testicles. Yes.
check out this nut shot. Son.
Yeah, we're not watching Phantom Menace. You're going to watch me shoot Nazis in the testicles.
I'm the Phantom. They call me the Phantom Menace because of the number of Nazi soldiers I've shot in the testicles.
But I really...
And I sneak off into the night.
Sneak off. I really liked 4. That's kind of really I jumped on the series and I played around with some of the older ones.
Yeah.
But they're really like it's like simple Hitman. It's very satisfying.
right,
I
right.
like the little maps they give you and they're just pretty good.
Pretty good, I reckon.
And I know they're not for everybody, and I'm not
Yeah,
even
yeah,
really
yeah.
like a stealth game guy, but there's something about the aesthetic and I like those games a lot.
Yeah, nice.
Well, I haven't played the new one, so maybe I'll hate it. Anyways, are you doing anything else, or should we move it along?
The only other thing that I watched this week, I've rewatched Eastern Promises. You know the
Viggo Mortensen.
because
Who directed that?
David Cronenberg.
Oh,
That's why I watched it.
because he's in the new one.
Yeah, Cronenberg has a new movie out called Crimes of the Future,
And it's making people vomit.
It's making people vomit because it's this classic weird body horror. What's happening? And there's an artist and they grow extra organs and then they show them to people or something.
Look at these.
That's the plot of the. So I thought I would go and I was like, what should I rewatch of his oeuvre that isn't
Yeah.
too gross. And the least gross one, I'm like, I remember really liking Eastern Promises.
I don't know if I've whether seen a bunch of it. I should watch Naked Lunch. People talk about that, don't they?
You should probably watch
Video drone scanners.
Yeah. I think the first.
So
gosh.
Crimes of the Future is good, is it?
I don't know. It's making people vomit, but
Sorry. He made it in 1970.
It's a different movie.
Yeah.
So
I meant the original one, yeah.
yeah, the original, but Crimes of the Future 2022 isn't a remake of Crimes of the Future 1970. He's just used the same name for some reason.
Okay.
Because he's that of that David Lynch vintage where he just does whatever he wants, and people are like, is that significant? Does that have some important narrative significance? And he's like, no.
No, but this guy grew an ear. next to you.
That's right, exactly.
Is that significant, bitch?
Let me have a look. Cronenberg. Let's have a look at bloody Cronenberg's bloody filmography.
Wow.
I think the first thing I saw of his was Existenz, which is the one that was unfortunately it was similarly themed to The Matrix. And in
99.
Yeah, it was in 99, but it got absolutely blown out of.
Oh, Jude Law, I remember this.
Yeah, it got absolutely blown out of the public consciousness by The Matrix in the same year. And then I went back, and he did Scanners and Videodrome. He did Naked Lunch. He did Dead Ringers, which is the one with Jeremy Irons playing two roles, and A History of Violence, Eastern Promises. And Cosmopolis, which is
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson's in that.
Is that the one where it's 9/11?
I'm not sure if it does end with it being 9/11.
Isn't there a Robert Pattinson movie that ends with him? It's 9/11.
I mean, maybe. There is a movie that is set on September the 10th, 2001, though, and every time it gets any kind of social media play.
No, it was the movie Remember Me.
Right.
Was the Robert Pattinson.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm like, I'll go back.
It just ends and it's 9/11. What an ending to a movie that just went, by the way, it's 9/11. Great.
Yeah.
27% Rotten Tomatoes.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, what were you saying?
Anyway, I watched Eastern Promises. Holds up, I think.
Great.
Yeah, very good.
Anyway,
Anyway, it's time for letters, I reckon. What do you reckon about that?
I think it's probably is time for letters.
I reckon I'm going to play the letters theme to signify that it's time for letters.
Let's do it.
The classic one was
Letters, oh letters, we love you. Some letters, they're only a day away.
I know they're here right now. We're going to do letters. Also in that movie, Viggo Mortensen's character, he wears like a grey shirt.
Yeah.
It's like a very specific shade of grey, and it's incredible. And I've spent like most of my adult life trying to track down a shirt in that exact shade of grey.
And you did it?
No, I haven't been able to do it. It's maddening, James.
It's just grey though, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's a very specific shade of grey. I should email David Cronenberg. He'll know.
Viggo Mortensen, Eastern. When are they going to make a sequel to Eastern Promises? I'm sure
Western Promises, yeah.
Yeah.
Westfield Promises. It's set in the shopping centre.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a franchise.
Northland Promises.
Wow, Northland.
Northland Promises. Yeah, yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah.
Wouldn't it be Eastland Promises?
No.
You're right.
That's implied in the first one. He's just leaving Eastland at the start of the movie, obviously.
It says here that this shirt is just a regular grey shirt and any idiot could buy it.
Oh, nice. I
just Googled it.
I should have found that
much earlier.
Found that page, yeah.
All right, what's next, Mason? What's
emails,
the letter?
I reckon.
Oh, letters, right. So you mentioned that already, but this is basically the part where people can write into the show either through Gmail, weeklyplanetpod@gmail.com, or hashtag weeklyplanetpod on Twitter.
That's correct.
Mason, could you tell us something that's happened?
I absolutely can. This is an email from Kay.
Hello,
and
Kay.
she said, could you please give the tiniest shout out to my now fiancé James, who an hour ago proposed to me via Escape Room.
But I'm already married.
Different James. There's more than one James in the world, James.
Name one.
This guy, James.
Okay,
James' fiancé, I think his name is. I obviously said yes, she says. We're literally sitting...
What if she was like, I said no. Anyways, love the show.
That's right. We're literally sitting at the Lincoln in Melbourne right now celebrating. He's subscribed to us, you guys, from the beginning, and I would love for you to give him a hey.
Sick.
Keep up the good work, boys, from Kay.
Well done.
Congratulations. You're
Congratulations, you've done
Exciting
it.
stage in your bloody life.
And you got out of that escape room. 2 big wins. At what point
they did
he
escape,
propose during the escape room?
That's the thought. That's the question I had. Did he set it up with the escape room guys? Be like at the end?
They'd be able to do that, wouldn't
Or
they?
what about...
Or is he now hearing this and go, I should have done that?
Yeah.
I opened the box at the end, there would have been the ring in the box at the end.
Or maybe he the more dangerous game is you just really bad at, you pretend to be really bad at all the traps and the thing, so you're stuck in there. And then when she's like, this is the absolute last straw, you could be like, well, since we're trapped in here, you want to get married? You want to get married in the escape room?
Oh, great stuff. What else have I got here, Mason?
What else do you have there?
Got one here from Nate who says, hashtag Weekly Planet Pod. I know you guys are excited for classic TV character Obi-Wan Kenobi's return, but I'm surprised you haven't heard you say anything about Stranger Things in the weeks lead up to the release. Like me, perhaps you are no longer excited for the show. I meant to talk about Stranger Things here. Yes, I wasn't super excited. I was like, yeah, I'll probably get around to that again, but I think there are some, like, it falls into some familiar kind of territory, but I think it's also, there's a little adventure in Russia happens, as mentioned. There's a new bad guy. They introduce some interesting new characters. I think it's good. I think it's still really good.
Are they? Is there any moment in it where they're attempting to do like a backdoor pilot to something else.
Doesn't seem to be.
Okay, all right. They've learned a lesson there.
I think
great.
so.
This is an email, and it is also a PSA. It's from Cisco. He had a question about giveaways. I got a message today from someone claiming to work with you guys saying I'd won a PS5 as a prize on a giveaway by the Weekly Planet.
Was this on a YouTube comment or like an actual direct message?
It says I got a message today.
Okay.
I thought awesome. I
How?
thought awesome, but couldn't believe it because I've never known you guys to do giveaways before. That's true. We are greedy and we keep all the things to ourselves. Also, the person that contacted me was kind of rude. I mean, that doesn't rule us out. Yeah. I thought you guys might want to know about it and maybe keep an eye out for people trying to scam you or other people. Yeah, I would say...
anything you receive, whether it be a YouTube comment or a message, if you don't hear it like here...
On this podcast, yes.
Then it's not a thing.
Yeah, we're not giving it anyway.
Yeah, except for these bored ape NFTs.
Yeah, we're going to sell those. Yeah, we're going to... Yeah.
Don't steal them from me, though.
So,
don't steal them.
No, that's not us. I'd seen this on other... I've seen this on YouTube channels and like people have had to address this sort of stuff and I'm like... Boy, it's never happened to us, but I guess it has now. So
there's a bunch of spam. I try to keep on top of it, but you can't catch all of it.
Yeah.
So,
in the event we did a giveaway, we'd announce it on here.
Yes,
I think.
exactly. So don't fall for a goddamn thing.
Don't fall for it.
I've got a tweet here, Mason.
Go on.
It's from the Afro Tales podcast, who says, and you're going to love this, Mason. I think you actually tagged in this. Found this at a local African shop. Looks like it was never opened. What should I do with it? Open and read or save it? Now, if you saw this, it was an Ultraverse Malibu comic.
Yes.
And it was Hardcase.
Sure.
Do you remember the character Hardcase?
I vaguely
from
remember the character.
Malibu Comics. So if you go into your @, or maybe do a search for hashtag Malibu Comics on Twitter, you'll probably find the said image, Mason.
Malibu Hardcase. Yes. Well, he was the leader of the Ultra Force, I believe. But I was more of a God, I can't even remember.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Bring it. You know this guy?
That's great stuff. Yeah, no, that's incredible stuff.
What should he do though?
Well, look, I won't lie to you.
You don't know it?
No, I'm familiar with it, but that was an era when like everything sold 1 million copies. So
give it a read.
Yeah, give it. Oh, you should have.
You know what? There'd be a digital version of it online, like either for free or to pay for. If you maybe keep it. Maybe keep it.
Yeah.
He's dressed like Judge Dredd without the helmet. He's dressed like Kyle Katarn without the helmet. Not Kyle Katarn. What's his name?
Dash Rendar.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
For following me on that incredible joke I was making. That was 2 before the end of the show. Any other things, Masons?
Well, I was going to say I was more of a bloody...
what are Malibu Comics doing at the moment?
Well, nothing. They got bought by Marvel.
Oh.
Yeah, I was more of a Prime guy. Prime was their version of Captain Marvel Power of Shazam.
Okay.
He was like a kid who turned into a big superhero, but it was instead of it being a bolt of lightning, he was all gross. Like all this slime would explode out of him and he would turn into Prime.
Oh no, is he all right?
Yeah, no, he died.
Okay.
Well, I think he's still alive. Malibu was also the Nightman, which was, of course, the jazz saxophonist that was
turned into a television show.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, your favorite show, right?
Yeah, and Malibu was also the origin of Men in Black.
Oh yeah, of course.
But then they were purchased by Marvel,
and now Men in Black is
a bad franchise.
Bad franchise. There's been one good movie. Yeah. Wow. And that show, which I quite liked, the animated show. Anything else, or should we call it a day?
Here's an email. This is from John. He says, thanks a lot.
So we'll do one more email, do you reckon?
Yeah, let's do one more email. Okay, right. It says, thanks a lot. And I'm like, I wonder if this is sarcastic, but it's not.
Thanks a lot.
Hello, it's been a very hard 12 months for me in my life. I had to get divorced and move away and start a new job.
Oh, boo. Sorry.
And it's hard not to be sad. I've got a therapist and meds and like that, but it's still kind of hard to enjoy things. When I listen to you guys have fun and talk about things that helps me feel better, I'm very grateful. Well worth $9 a month.
And just also know that we are miserable. So if that makes you feel any better.
Yeah.
We may seem like we're having fun, but...
I'm having fun, actually.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm not having fun.
I don't have any way to help you. So, I don't know. What more do you want? You want to?
No, it's not up to you.
Okay. Do you want the dregs of this soda?
That's very empty.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, there's a little bit in the bottom.
A little bit in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, John says this isn't a funny letter like the ones you read on the air.
It's okay.
But I still wanted to thank you for what you do. Hope you guys are doing well. We are.
Yeah, we're doing all right. Yeah, but you know what? It sounds also you're moving forward in ways, which is really cool.
That is
great, moving, new job. That's great. That's really good. You're doing it. And most importantly, you're giving us $9 a month, which I think,
yes.
That's the greatest gift you could give anybody.
That's true. Maybe one day it'll bloody cheer James up. I'll cheer this guy up.
No, Mason,
this
I'm
absolute
very
bummer
happy.
of a podcast host.
I'm very happy, Mason. Wow. Speaking of drinks, Mason, as you mentioned, there was a video that just went up on my channel, which is on the Phantom Menace marketing blitz.
Oh.
And I may or may not have purchased a set of Pepsi cans from the 1999 Pepsi exclusive Phantom Menace deal.
You have there in the other room. I've seen
I may
it.
or may not, and then I may or may not have opened and drunk one in the video towards the end of the video.
Did you really?
Who's to say?
I thought they were empty.
Who's to say? Well, they're empty. One of them's empty now.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Hey, here's one more email.
Okay.
Then we're done.
But I don't know whether I drunk it. Maybe I just opened it over the sink. Anyway, go on.
This is from Oliver. Worst superhero movie lines of all time.
Okay.
Hi, James and Mesa. While recently seeing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, I couldn't get over the path where, after Doctor Strange has just been introduced to the Illuminati, spoiler alert, his immediate response is the Illumawati.
Like he's never heard the word.
Like he's never heard the word Illuminati.
Yeah.
This ranks just above the part from No Way Home where he says, Scooby-Doo this crap. There's the two worst lines in the MCU. That's interesting, both Doctor Strange lines.
Do you think it's his fault?
Yes.
Is it because he's not funny?
Maybe.
He's trying to do jokes?
What are some lines from superhero movies that seem the weirdest, most out of place for you guys?
Now, people wanted to say it's Morbin time
Do they? I don't think they
from
do.
Michael Morbius. That's what people want to hear.
Yeah, sure.
But it's not a real line,
It's true.
just to clarify.
Yeah.
Weird, bad line.
Well, here's one.
God.
Well, I mean, bring that up. But I was going to say one of the weirdest ones, and I only learned about this recently. In the first X-Men movie, you know when Storm says to Toad, you know what happens to a Toad when it gets struck by lightning?
Same thing
that happens
else.
to everybody else. And everybody's like, that's a weird line. Apparently that was a through line in the movie. Like Toad would say, Toad had more lines in the original cut. And he would say like, what happens to a Toad when you try and step on it, it comes and it gets you or whatever. Like the whole bit was like he was taunting people throughout the movie.
Okay.
Like what happens to a toad when you flip it on its back or whatever. And,
so it's actually a fun
she
callback.
so she turns around on him, but they were like...
It just sounds weird
It
now.
just sounds weird now because they cut it all out. So I think that's really interesting. But yeah,
I'm on a list
I
here.
wonder if Doctor Strange's lines seem bad because they are bad. I mean, they are bad. But is it? It's weirder to me because they come out of his mouth in an American accent.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Even though the character is supposed to be American, apparently Cumberbatch was hired because they were like, he's going to do a British accent. And this is an inherently British kind of character. But he was like, nah, this character's too iconically American.
He could have totally got away with it.
I know.
I'm on What Culture, and they've got 30 lines here, but I'm only going to do some.
Let's rank them.
Mostly because they're all on different pages. Never rub another man's rhubarb.
From
Batman.
Batman.
That's just Jack Nicholson just saying whatever.
It's true.
Peter's Destiny, The Amazing Spider-Man. I don't like that, The Amazing Spider-Man. Like, you have to have a responsibility and you need to serve a responsibility.
Yeah, they had to do a quick reword of great power. With great power becomes great responsibility.
Where do you stand on I'm the Juggernaut bitch?
I hate it.
What about...
I think it's rude and disrespectful.
That's what that feels like. What about that? That's what that feels like. Batman.
What was the context of that again?
I can't remember. Catwoman disappears?
Somebody disappears. Yeah, I quite like that. Yeah.
Apparently, time to accessorize is in Catwoman, no doubt. Apparently, the line leave...
I would have said time to cat-accessorize.
Very good. I would have said time to accessorize. Leave Me Alone from The Incredible Hulk. That's fine.
Okay, what a great line.
Ghost Rider apparently says, he may have my soul, but he doesn't have my spirit. Okay.
I would have said, he may have my soul, but he doesn't have a big flaming head, and I can shoot flame out of my head.
What about...
Get him with big flames out of my head.
What do you prefer, yellow spandex? You like that?
I don't like that because that line essentially killed the X-Men getting decent costumes
for
forever.
20 years.
Forever, for the whole time. So... at the time, I think that was a fun reference. But I think what happened there is because that movie was so successful, it drove a stake through the heart of them actually getting yellow spandex or any kind of interesting costumes until at least First Class.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'll get Drive-Thru from Batman Forever as number one. No, that's not the worst line.
Huh.
It's the Toad one, despite... no. Yeah. I have no problem with any of those lines. They're all wonderful and I love everything. Mason, is that the show?
That's the whole show.
Wow.
And you've loved everything. You've loved every moment of the show.
It's true. I can't think of a single thing I don't like about this show every week that we do it.
Yes, I'm part of this show. That's as good as validation to me.
That is.
Yes.
Inadvertently, that is validation.
Gotcha. Folks, thank you so much for listening to this show. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for telling your friends about it. Thank you for leaving a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you have, because that helps other people find the show, and that's how we get more listeners.
It's true.
James, you got any reviews there?
I got a couple right here, Mason. This one's from System_Hero, who gave us 5 stars just in-app. It's so easy and so helpful. He says, long-time listener, first-time reviewer. Been listening to this podcast since I was 15 years old. Recently, I graduated from college. This is not to brag about graduating, as my degree is completely and utterly useless, but rather to make you two old hosts of an old podcast feel even older. At least they're funny and handsome, but still old, so gross.
We are old and gross. That is very true. I always some of my favorite reviews and emails and things are things like
I was born when I listened to this show.
Right. Or I was in high school when I started listening to this, and now I'm a doctor. And I'm like,
what?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Well, we've been in this room saying stupid things about comic books. So you're welcome.
That's right. And this one's from Hawk-Koo VHS, who says, real-life Batman and Superman. Because one of them is an intense billionaire,
That's
and
me.
the other is a fun alien strongman.
That's also me.
Oh, which
Both
one
of
am I?
You're the
I'm the verses?
You're the
I
verses.
do the
yeah.
V. I do this.
Yeah.
Barbs, I make a big V.
Nice. That's beautiful. Folks, if you want to get into contact with the show, you can go to weeklyplanetpod@gmail.com, at Facebook, at Twitter, at Bandcamp. You can follow our great friend Rob Collings, who edits the podcast, who makes all sorts of great videos. He handles the socials.
How does he do it?
It's technology and work and dedication and effort, I think.
That's right.
And skills.
That's right.
That's right. But you can follow him at Raw Collings on Twitter. You can follow him at The Weekly Planet on Twitter. You can follow me at Wikipedia Brown on Twitter and Nick Meso on Instagram. James is Mr. Sunday Movies everywhere.
Bam.
You can also go to the Planet Broadcasting Great Mates Facebook group and the Weekly Planet Reddit and Discord.
Yeah.
Have fun pop culture and podcast-related chats on all those platforms, whichever one is least scary and confusing to you.
I agree.
For me, it's all of them. They're all very scary and
You don't like
confusing.
them?
No, I love them.
They give you this.
They give me a thrill. They give me a roller coaster-like thrill.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's see. If you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com.
I would love to support the
Mr.
show.
Sunday Movies. You can chuck in a buck or any amount you wouldn't miss. We know times are tough out there. You don't have to contribute anything.
No, you
we
don't have to do a
mind.
goddamn
We're
thing.
bringing this podcast out. We love doing it.
We do, don't we?
Or you can go to bigsandwich.co, $9 per month. You get all sorts of bonus podcasts and movie commentaries. Like we said, we did a Top Gun commentary recently. Had a good time with it. If you're got a hankering to see original Top Gun before you go see Top Gun Maverick, why not do it with our commentary over the top? Or watch the movie as it was
Just watch
intended
it
to play.
but still download our commentary.
Yeah, download the commentary though. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Maybe download the commentary and listen to it in the theater while you watch Top Gun Maverick. See if it syncs up. Maybe it will.
It should.
That'd be amazing. Wouldn't it be amazing if it did?
I think it would be amazing. That would be incredible.
It would be amazing.
Miles Teller, we'd say.
That'd be Alex Lloyd amazing. That's how amazing it would be. Also, folks, we've got some T-shirts over at tpublic.com.
You can legally purchase those.
You can legally purchase those.
And then you own them. Someone can't steal them from you on the blockchain.
That's true. They can only steal them from you in real life. And they would because you look so stylish in those T-shirts.
Yeah.
You can also go to... You can also you can also go to any number of websites. Honestly, if you want to purchase
so many
T-shirts or other products,
There's too many.
You don't have to though.
No.
Thank you to the Brute and the Basilisk and Arachne for all our musical themes. We should thank Weekly Planet Posters. There's Weekly Planet Posters
my
over on Twitter
goodness, how's he
and
doing it?
and Instagram. Who multiple times a month puts out a silly poster based on something we say.
And there's so many people obviously helping in the Great Mates group.
That's very
we've also
true.
got a TikTok. We're on TikTok apparently. There's also a Weekly Planet.
We're scared of it. Like I said, it's confusing and scary
What is
to
it?
us.
Sarabi's doing that one. And also there's going to be a Weekly Planet Clips channel, which is going up this week, which is going to be a separate YouTube channel, which we're trying out. We're trying to monetize every single second of this show multiple times.
Yes.
Aren't we, Mason?
I guess.
And next week, maybe Stranger Things. I don't know.
What's coming out June the somethingeth?
Oh, great question.
Something's
Let me
coming
just
out
check
soon,
my
right?
watch.
Yeah. All right, first of all, you're not wearing a watch. Second of all, you made a motion as if you were going to lift your shirt cuff up and show me your watch, but then you just simply gave me the rude finger, which I think is very rude.
No. It was an accident. Let me check my actual watch.
Wow.
I did it on the other arm, everybody.
Huh.
I gave him the finger again.
Yeah, but see, that time I mean, you're right-handed, so your watch wouldn't have been on that wrist. I don't
You think I can wear my watch on my right hand?
I don't think you're capable of it, quite
I
frankly.
absolutely am. I'm also one of those guys that sometimes wear my watch under the wrist. I turn it around the other
Wow,
way.
what are you, Top Gun Maverick?
Is that what he does?
No, but it seems like something you'd do. You're Mr. Military Man with your watch on the other
I
side
am
of your wrist.
Mr. Well, my grandpa used to wear it like that, so I guess that's why I did, but I've never done anything heroic. Mason, next week is early June is
It's coming out June 6th, I think. But maybe
Jurassic World Dominion.
Jurassic World, there we go. Is that next week or is that?
No, it's week after.
Week after that.
But I did also tell you we got one invite to the premiere.
Okay,
Did I
right.
mention that here?
I don't know.
They sent an email and they said, "Do you want to come to Jurassic World Dominion?" And I said, "I would love to come to Jurassic World Dominion. Can I have two tickets so I can bring my good friend Nick Mason?" And they said,
"Ooh, yuck, no."
Well, that's pretty much. They said, "No, this is an exclusive event. You can only bring one ticket. Have one ticket. Do you still want to come?" And I said, "I don't know. So I will not be going to Jurassic World Dominion, the Melbourne premiere.
Oh my God.
I'll see it Thursday morning
The
in an
T-Rex
empty
might be
cinema.
there. Might you be able to meet
the
the
car
T-Rex?
will be there. Last year there was the Jeep.
You can
Last
go
time
up. You can go up on a little stepladder and shake his hand. The T-Rex.
Oh, that's fun, isn't it?
It's fun, it's
All
true.
right. Thanks, everybody.
Grab that jam, you guys. We will see you next week.
Goodbye.
For a thing, whatever the topic is.
Whatever the thing is.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Yeah, we'll do it.